Good evening, and we welcome you to the Reich Center in Westerville for Wednesday Night Hoops here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network for a matchup between the 8-9 Polar Bears of Ohio Northern and the 3-14 Otterbein Cardinals. Hello, I'm David Kinder, and we thank you for joining us here on 97.5 WOBN. Joining me at the radio desk, Elijah Gonzalez. And Elijah, we're getting to crunch time in the season now. This might be a must-win game for Coach Adrian and the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's a must-win game for Coach Adrian and the Cardinals. And David, not to mention, this is also a must-win game situation for Ohio Northern. Only one spot ahead of Otterbein. Really, these two teams, either one needs to win this basketball game to stay in the hunt for that A spot in the OAC.
We want to thank everyone for joining us here on the program, and you're listening to the Roush Honda pregame show brought to you by Roush Honda, located at 100 West Schrock Road in Westerville, open Monday through Saturday for all your automotive needs, sales, service, and body shop. They're closed on Sundays so they can spend time with family. You can find them on the web at RoushHonda.com. Roush Honda, serving the Westerville community since 1965. As we said, Elijah, Otterbein coming into this one 2-8 in league play, tied with Muskingum for last in the conference, 3-14 on the season, and they're coming off a tough loss in Alliance last Saturday to Mount Union, 85-64. It was a real back-and-forth game. Mount Union ended up scoring the first 10 points of the game. Otterbein came storming back. They had a 10-point lead at one point in the first half, and then in the second half, with 6 minutes left, they were trailing by only 3, and then Mount Union really started to heat up from long range, hit some clutch three-pointers. They ended up winning by 21, but that final score not as indicative of how close that game really was.
Yeah, you said it. That game definitely was not nearly as lopsided as it looked, and really one of the reasons was the play of Jake Phillips in that basketball game. Phillips, he was 4 of 10 shooting, which doesn't look that great on the stat sheet, but he had 13 points, and he was 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Jake Phillips has struggled a bit from beyond the arc this season, and really he played an incredible basketball game. Brian McKenzie did what he did, but it was really a contribution from every guy. Coach Adrian only played 8 guys in this basketball game, but pretty much 1 through 8 made a contribution. Even Christian Meister, in my opinion, David, he had the biggest 11 minutes of the basketball game coming in and playing that point guard position. He was really able to do a good job to give a spill for Chase Moyer and Jake Phillips, as well as Daryl Miller III, not having to have them bring the ball up the floor every single time. So Christian Meister even really had some quality minutes, even though he only ended up with 3 points. So this is it was a team effort in that basketball game, and it was the reason that they were in that game.
Phillips has scored double figures in 7 straight games for Otterbein. Let's talk about Otterbein's other point guard, Daryl Miller III, coming off of that shoulder injury. He missed the past 4 games, played in that Mount Union game, wore a shoulder brace. It didn't seem to bother him much. He finished with 8 points, had 2 steals and 2 assists. He played pretty effective, and if Otterbein wants to have a chance today, they're going to really rely on him to play as that other guard and then to play in place of Jake Phillips when he needs a breather.
Yeah, Daryl Miller III did a great job. He started in that basketball game as well, did a great job, was able to get 8 points in that game. He shot 3 of 7, but this is the most aggressive that I have seen Daryl Miller III pretty much since the beginning of the season. He kind of shied away from a couple of shots towards the beginning or towards the middle of the season, but now he's back to the Daryl Miller III that we saw at the beginning of the year, that liked to penetrate, get inside, and also when he drives and kicks, it opens up things for Jake Phillips, for Chase Moyer, who had a nice game against Mount Union. So Daryl Miller III really is a quality one guard that I think Otterbein can really use in this basketball game if they want to get the win.
Let's take a look at tonight's opponents, the Polar Bears, who come into this game out of Ada, 8-9 overall. They are 3-7 in Ohio Athletic Conference play. They've had a bit of a strange season, Elijah. They won their first 5 games of the year, that 5th being a victory over Otterbein, the first game of conference play. Then they ended up losing 6 in a row after that ball game, and since then they've kind of alternated wins and losses. So it's been a strange season in Ada, to say the least. As we said, they played once before. That was up in Ada on December 3rd, which has to feel like an eternity ago for these players.
Yeah, that game definitely was a very long time ago for both these teams, and really this is an Ohio Northern team that obviously non-conference schedule really doesn't mean much, but don't say this to the Polar Bears because they got all 5 of their wins at the beginning of the year. Besides that Otterbein game, 4 of them non-conference games. So we'll see if they can turn it around, but like you mentioned, David, both teams really need this victory to get that ace spot in the OAC tournament, because I see whichever team loses this game, I really don't see them making it in the OAC tournament.
Let's take a look at some of the stars for the Polar Bears we should keep an eye out today. Lucas Pennington, one of their senior guards. He's a pretty talented guy. He scored 19 earlier this year against Otterbein in Ohio Northern's loss to Capital on Saturday. He dropped 19 again. He's one of only 3 players in the OAC with over 100 attempts from beyond the three-point line. So he's going to chuck it up from all across the floor. He's a deadly scorer, and Otterbein's really going to have to defend him tonight.
Yeah, they're really going to have to defend him, David, but also they're going to have to keep away from fouling him. He was 10 of 10 from the foul line in that game against Capital, and he was 3 of 14 from the floor. So the majority of his points did come from the foul line. So I guess if you're Otterbein, you got to play physical with him down low, but if he penetrates in the lane, and he's going to try and draw some contact and draw a foul, but I expect Coach Adrian to put a guy like a Matt Hughes on him. Even Mark McEwen will probably see some time against Pennington, but these posts for Otterbein are going to have to find a way to stop him and also not get into foul trouble, because if McEwen as well as Hughes get into foul trouble, Otterbein could be in trouble as a whole.
And we talked about the importance of this game coming down the stretch. This is a very important week overall for Cardinal basketball. 2 very winnable games this week, of course, with the Polar Bears tonight, and then on Saturday you'll travel to New Concord to take on the Muskingum Fighting Muskies, a team you've already beat once this year. So you'd like to be able to split your season series with Ohio Northern and then sweep Muskingum. That way, those are 2 teams you know that you'll already be above in the league standings, hopefully at the end of the year, giving you that 8th place and a berth in the tournament.
Well, really, it would put Otterbein in the driver's seat in that 8th spot. Right now, Ohio Northern pretty much in the driver's seat. So if they can pull out some victories, if they can pull out this victory against Otterbein and then continue to get a couple of more wins, then they'll solidify that 8th spot. So again, this is a huge game for both teams, but Ohio Northern really has the upper hand right now just because of their spot in the standings. But if Otterbein can pull out this victory, and like you mentioned, we'll be up in Muskingum with them on Saturday, but if they can get that victory tonight and that victory against Muskingum, then Otterbein can then be in the driver's seat. So pretty much the winner of this game, I really see getting that 8th spot.
Earlier this week, I had a chance to go to Otterbein's practice and talk with sophomore guard Chase Moyer about the loss on Saturday to Mount Union, and also preview tonight's game with Ohio Northern in our Cardinal Conversation segment. Here's what he had to say. We're joined on the program with Otterbein sophomore guard Chase Moyer. Chase, thanks for joining us on the program. Otterbein coming off an 85-64 loss to Mount Union last time they were on the floor. Coach Adrian told us he thought it was one of the most complete games Otterbein's played all year. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we came out, we played a lot harder than we have and with a lot more passion. Unfortunately, we weren't able to finish each half the way we wanted to, but during the game, it definitely wasn't a 20-point loss game. Unfortunately, that's what the score was at the end, but we definitely played one of our best basketball games. So
tonight you take on Ohio Northern, a team you played once before this season, way back on December 3rd. Do you feel like Otterbein of late January matches up better with Ohio Northern than Otterbein of early December did?
Definitely, especially if we play the way we did against Mount. If we come out, just play hard, do our thing, stick to our strategy and our game plan, I think we can come out and we match up with them pretty well, so we'll see.
What can you tell us that the Polar Bears do really well that could give Otterbein some problems in tonight's game?
The first time we played them, they shot the ball really well, so we definitely have to defend the 3, and they do a lot of driving and kicking, so we got to take away the one-on-one offense with our defense, I guess.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Chase. Best of luck to you and the team tonight.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate it.
That was Otterbein sophomore guard Chase Moyer, kind enough to join us here on the Roush Honda pregame show. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, though, we'll get you the conference standings. We'll look around games in the OAC today, and we'll also have the starting lineups. It's the Cardinals and the Polar Bears tipping off next here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network, 97.5 WOBN.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Hey Cardinal fans, Otterbein Athletics on the Radio is brought to you in part by Westerville Automotive. Serving the Westerville area for 20 years, they have 2 locations on Westerville Road and in the Uptown area, just seconds away from Otterbein on Main Street. They're on the web at westervilleautomotive.com. You can follow them on Facebook at Westerville Automotive Uptown or call them at 614-890-6700. That's Westerville Automotive.
This is head coach Todd Adrian, and you're listening to Cardinal Basketball on 97.5 WOBN Westerville, your source of Otterbein athletics.
There be many pirates that sail these 7 seas. Barbossa, Blackbeard, Jack Sparrow. But there be only one pirate you need care about. The MC DJ MC. Every Thursday from 8 to 10, he sails for Pirate Radio on WOBN. Playing everything you want to hear on your college radio station, The Wild Card.
Fewer than 5 out of 100 people give blood. Ever wonder why they do it?
It's the one thing that we can do that we can always afford to do, and hey, you get a snack afterwards, so.
Snacks are great. I never knew my blood type, and I found out in doing this that I'm O negative, so there's that added pressure knowing that everyone can use my blood at any time, and so I feel like it's my responsibility.
It's a little extra bragging power, too, knowing that you're a universal giver.
Yeah, I'm pretty special.
Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org to make an appointment today.
I'm Drew Brees, and being a dad means the world to me. And one of the most important things any parent can do is make sure their kids get active at least 60 minutes each day. Studies show that physical activity not only helps kids stay healthy, it can enhance important skills like concentration and problem solving, which can improve academic performance. This means physical activity can help your kids in the most important game of all, life. Learn more at fitness.gov.
Brought to you by HHS.
And we welcome you back to the Reich Center here in Westerville, Ohio for an Ohio Athletic Conference matchup between the Otterbein Cardinals and the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern. I am David Kinder, Elijah Gonzalez sitting off to my left here at the radio desk, and you're listening to the Roush Honda pregame show about 2 minutes before tip. And Elijah, pretty sparse crowd here at the Reich. I know it's a Wednesday and all, but where are the fans at?
Well, I'm assuming a lot of students have homework, I guess, because I don't see a single person sitting in the student section right now. But about 2 minutes till tip-off, and hopefully they show up.
Yeah, I guess not everyone can be as fortunate as comm majors in the amount of homework that they get. Let's take a look at the conference standings coming into this one. Now, of course, in first place, still undefeated, Marietta 17-0. They're 10-0 in league play. Tied for second place in the league at 8-2 in the conference is John Carroll and Mount Union. BW occupies the 4th spot at 7-3. Right behind them at 5 is Wilmington. There's a 3-way tie for 6th place between Ohio Northern, Heidelberg, and Capital, all at 3 and 7. And then tied at 9th place are your Otterbein Cardinals and the Muskingum Fighting Muskies. All 10 teams are in league action today playing in OAC games, and they all tip off at the same time as our ball game here at the Reich. BW is in alliance to take on Mount Union. Capital is at Wilmington to take on the Quakers. Muskingum will travel to the Ohio River to take on the Pioneers of Marietta, try to upset them, and Heidelberg is in University Heights to take on John Carroll. So if you're looking at this from an Otterbein perspective, as we are, Elijah, you're going to want a lot of chalk games today. You're obviously going to want Mount Union to beat BW. You're going to want Muskingum to fall to Marietta. You're going to want John Carroll to beat Heidelberg. The Capital and Wilmington game can really go either way because they're so close in the standings, but you're going to want those teams in the upper division of the conference to beat those teams in the lower so you have a chance to move up.
Yeah, and we'll see if it happens. I mean, honestly, I really think that the top of the OAC, very, very dominant, and in all reality, Mount Union both and Marietta, I believe, could make the tournament, and so the top of the conference is as strong as ever. So I really don't see a lot of upsets being pulled. I guess tonight would technically be an upset here at the Reich Center, so hopefully Otterbein can pull out the victory, but I don't really consider if Otterbein wins this game much of an upset. Ohio Northern still struggling as well.
We do have one more roster update to get you. Otterbein obviously has been bothered with injuries and illnesses all season long. Another player to scratch off your roster, number 41, the freshman forward, the local product, Matt Chellis, no longer a part of the team, so Otterbein loses a little bit more depth in the front court.
Yeah, they do lose a little bit of depth, but you know, again, this is a team that doesn't have much to begin with. So hopefully we can, or Otterbein can find a way to get more depth down low and more production out of their freshmen.
We'll pause now here for the playing of the national anthem at the Reich Center by the Otterbein Pep Band.
Michael Jonchek.
Otterbein Pet Band under the direction of Michael Janczek. And it's time now for the starting lineups here from the Reich Center. First, we'll get you the starting 5 for the visitors from Ada.
For Ohio Northern, it'll go as follows. It'll be the point guard, number 1, Joey Hurlis, the sophomore, standing at 6'1" from Van Wert, Ohio. Then it is Isaiah Rue, the guard, the senior, 6 foot from Orlando, Florida. Then it'll be number 14, Connor Baker, the other guard, the other wing, the sophomore, 6'3" from Gahanna Lincoln High School, very close here to Westerville. Number 32, Lucas Pennington, the senior forward, staying at 6'4" from Dayton, Ohio. And then number 42, Alex Radkovich, the sophomore forward, standing at 6'4" from Lancaster, Ohio.
Ohio Northern comes to this game 8-9 on the season, 3-7 in league play. They're coached by Kevin Byrne in his 3rd season in Ada. Now for your Otterbein Cardinals, the starting 5 will look very similar. And the front court for Otterbein, running the point guard position, number 3, Jake Phil, sophomore, 5'11" out of Zanesville High School. And number 10, Darrell Miller III, freshman out of New Albany, 5'11" guard. In the front court for the Otterbein Cardinals, number 5, Brian McKenzie, sophomore forward, 6'2", out of Westlake, Ohio. Number 32, Mark McEwen, junior forward, 6 foot, 6 inches tall, out of Butler, Ohio. And number 52, the freshman forward out of Columbus's Bishop Watterson High School, Matt Hughes, at 6 foot, 5 inches tall. Otterbein comes to this game 3-14 overall, 2-8 in Ohio Athletic Conference play. They're coached by Todd Adrian in his 3rd season in Westerville. Ohio Northern holds the all-time series record, 66-54. This is the 121st all-time matchup between the two schools. They first played back in the 1913-14 season. Our officials for today's game, Chase Gibson, Rob Durr, and Grant Lowe. Otterbein in their home tan uniforms with the Cardinal trim and lettering and the words Otterbein across their chest. Ohio Northern in visiting black uniforms with white trim and orange numbering and lettering with the words Ohio above the numbers and the word Northern below the numbers on the front of their jersey. Going out for the opening tip is a pair of number 32s, Mark McEwen and Lucas Pennington. Ball's in the air, and it is secured right near half court by Radkovic for Ohio Northern, who moves left to right as we view them at the Reich Center floor. We'll have it on the right side of the floor, gets it over on the far side wing to Baker. He'll send it into the corner to Pennington, out to Rue at the top of the 3-point arc. Bounce passes it on the near side corner, back out to the top of the 3-point line to Hurlis. Sends it over to the far side corner to Pennington, all the way across the floor. 3-pointer on the way with a hand in his face from Hughes. No good. Rebound goes to McKenzie in the far side corner for Otterbein.
Good hustle there by Brian McKenzie, and he has done such a great job this year on the glass.
A former Eagle from New Albany High School has the ball high on the left side of the floor for Otterbein. Backs his dribble up towards center circle. Moves it towards the top of the 3-point arc. He'll send it over to Phyllis, near side corner in front of the ONU bench. Running around the 3-point arc off of a screen from Hughes. He'll get it to McKenzie, far side wing, working opposite of Baker. Picks up his dribble, gets it over to McEwen, near side wing. Cuts towards the basket, into the low block, goes with a shot. It's short off the bottom of the rim. No good. Rebound secured by Rue. Pushes it down the floor, near side wing. Bounce passes it into the corner to Hurlis, who it kicks off of his shoe. They get it out to the far side corner to Baker, working opposite of McKenzie. Cuts into the lane, goes up with a shot. He gets it to fall, but the basket will not count as they have a whistle and a foul before the shot in the lane on Mark McEwen.
Yeah, and that was a great penetration move there by Connor Baker as he took it tough to the basket. Good defense there from Brian McKenzie. Not much you can do.
Excuse me, they're going to get that foul on Phil's, his first, team's first, as Hurlis looks inbound from the right baseline. They'll get it into the backcourt. Bounce passes to Baker. The long 2-pointer from the elbows up, and it's no good. Rebound goes to Miller underneath the hoop for Otterbein. Pushing in their tan uniforms, working against the black uniforms of Ohio Northern. Hughes will send it over to Phyllis, far side wing, working opposite of Rue. Bounce passes into the high block to McEwen, posting up against Pennington. Backs it off, gets it to McKenzie, circles around him, cuts towards the basket. Out to the top of the 3-line to Phyllis, over near side wing to Miller. Takes a long 3 as he's falling away from the basket, and they're going to say his foot's on the line, so it's a 2-pointer. But Otterbein on the board first as Miller knocks down that long shot. Here comes Hurlis cutting towards the basket into the low block. Goes up with an awkward shot. No good. Rebound secured on the baseline by McEwen for Otterbein. They have the lead 2-0. 2 minutes removed in this ball game as McEwen picks up the drop dribble from Miller, who brings it across center circle for Otterbein. Near side wing, holds his dribble there. Bounce pass it to Hughes at the elbow. Back over to Miller, far side wing. Pump fakes a 3-pointer. Out to the top of the 3-point line, and we have a whistle and a foul before the pass, and it's going to be away from the ball, and they're going to get it on number 1, Joey Hurlis.
They actually got it on Connor Baker, number 14, so that's going to be his first. It was away from the ball, and he tried to fight through the screen and fought through a bit too hard there.
Miller inbounding from the left baseline for Otterbein. Quickly inbounds it to McKenzie underneath the hoop, who dribbles out of a double team. McKenzie backs his dribble off to the left side of the floor, over far side wing to Miller, lobs it to Hughes from the elbow, two-pointer on the way from 15 feet out, bounces on the rim twice and it falls in.
Ohio Northern was in a 2-3 zone there, and Matt Hughes found the soft spot in the high post. Good job by Hughes, way to knock it down as well.
Radkovic near side wing will send it to Rue, who cuts towards the basket at the free throw line. Back out to Radkovic, two-pointer on the way from the corner, on the baseline, no good. Pennington gets the rebound for Ohio Northern. Lobs it back out to Rue near center circle. Otterbein up 4-0, 17-17 remaining in the first half of the ball game. Cards trying to break a 5-game losing streak. Pennington will have it on the far side wing. Back out to Hurlis at the point, over to Rue, far side wing, off a quick pass, cuts towards the basket, poked away from behind from Phyllis. It's a one-on-one as Phyllis cuts towards the basket. His layup is underneath the hoop, no good. It's rebounded by Miller, who gets it to Hughes, and a low block and one. Hughes gets the layup left of the rim as it falls in, and he's fouled, so we have a chance to convert the three-point play.
And David, already in this basketball game, Daryl Miller III has been all over the floor. He was on the defensive glass, has a board. He had a nice jump shot from the corner, and right there, he pursues on the trail. As Phyllis missed the layup, he got the ball and then found Matt Hughes with a no-look pass. Beautiful play by Daryl Miller III. And then how about Matt Hughes finishing in between contact? Great job by Hughes.
The foul was on Lucas Pennington as Hughes is able to convert the three-point play. 5 new players check into the game for Coach Kevin Byrne. Otterbein with a 7-0 lead. 16:55 remaining in the first half of our ball game. As Treese has it, he'll pop a three-pointer, far side wing, rattles in and out, no good. Gets the rebound underneath the basket. Treese kicks it back out, top of the three-point line to Allen. Allen over far side wing, three-pointer on the way. And McKenzie's able to pull down the board for Otterbein, looking to push down the floor, gets it to Miller. Miller cuts into the high block, feeds it to Hughes, looking to go down low, back to Miller, and it's out of bounds and off of the hands of, I believe they're going to say that was off the hands of Aaron Thress. So it'll remain with Cardinal basketball. Inbounding from the left baseline is Daryl Miller. No one guarding him. He throws it to McKenzie, far side wing. Will hand it off to Hughes. Back out to Phyllis near center circle. Jake calling out a play. 20 on the shot clock. 16:20 on the game clock as Miller lobs it to the free throw line to Hughes. Trying to get it back out to Miller, and it's tipped away and intercepted. Here come the Polar Bears pushing quickly as they get it to Durario. Back over to the far side wing. Bounce passes it into the low block to Thress. Back out to the top of the three-point line. 3 on the way is too hard. No good from Diario. And it caroms out of bounds. Like I say, it was off the hands of an Ohio Northern player down low. Didn't see who it was, so it'll remain with Otterbein, and they'll inbound from the right baseline.
And David, we saw this in the JV game. Ohio Northern likes to sub 5-5, so obviously head coach of Ohio Northern is not happy with the way his team is playing right now, so he put in all of his reserves.
Much like JCU did, and Otterbein really struggled to figure that out. Miller has his dribble near center circle, gets it over to McKenzie on the far side wing, back out to McEwen, top of the point, sends it over to Phyllis, near side wing. Phyllis trying to find someone down low. Bounce passes into the block to Hughes. Hughes turns and faces the basket, and we have a whistle and a foul as he does so. That'll be the third foul of the half on the black and orange.
Yeah, and this game's starting to get a little bit chippy down there. Matt Hughes always fighting very hard in the block, and he was able to draw the foul as he went to the basket.
The foul was on Thress, his first, as Miller's inbound pass goes way into the backcourt across the time stripe where Phyllis picks it up. He slowly brings his dribble across the center stripe, gets it to McKenzie near side wing. McKenzie circles the three-point arc, picks up his dribble, back over to Miller, far on the high on the right side of the floor. Bounce passes to Hughes at the top of the key. Hughes cutting towards the basket, out to McKenzie near side wing. Dribbles towards the round the baseline. Bounce pass at low block to McKenzie, out to Phyllis. 3 on the way from the corner, off the front of the rim, no good. Hughes there for the rebound, fighting for a double team. And he kicks it out to McKenzie, far side wing. Can't believe there wasn't a foul called under the basket. McKenzie bounce passes to Phyllis. Fresh shot clock for Otterbein.
I thought there was going to be a jump ball there, David. It looked like it was a tie-up, too, but good job by Hughes to wrestle it away.
At the very least, a jump ball. McKenzie has it far side wing for Otterbein now, and a foul on number 22, Joey Diario.
Yeah, and I was waiting for that call, David. These referees really letting Ohio Northern with that hand check get in the guards of Otterbein, and that's really been the reason that Otterbein has had to start their offense out so high on the wing. But these referees just not letting him play.
That'll be Diario's first, team's fourth. We got 5 minutes removed as Chase Moyer is going to check in the game for Coach Adrian. He'll replace Daryl Miller, who have a seat on the bench. The Cardinals up 7-0 here in this ball game. McKenzie has it far side wing for Otterbein as he looks to cut towards the basket. Gets it back out to Moyer near side wing. Moyer being bothered now, gets it to McEwen at the point. McEwen sends it over to Phyllis, far side wing, and is that a 3-second violation on the
they're going to
cards?
call a foul on Matt Hughes, and it's offensive. They're going to say that he got into it a bit down there with Threes, and that's a matchup right now, David, that Otterbein's lucky Matt Hughes isn't guarding Threes on the other end, because he might try and retaliate. Threes will, because Matt Hughes is really getting physical down in the block with him.
Allen brings it across the floor for ONU, gets to Threes at the top of the three-point line, moves his dribble over near side wing where he's guarded by McEwen. Back out to Martin at the point, working opposite of Moyer. Bounce passes to Threes into the low block, posting up against McEwen. Turns around, gets it back out to Allen, cutting towards the basket. Bounce passes into the low block, going up with a shot on the left side of the rim is Feetsan, and he gets it to fall. And ONU finally on the board, 7-2 with 14-10 remaining in the first half of the game, as Phyllis looking to score quickly, pushes it down the floor. They get out to McEwen at the top of the three-point arc. Passes over to McKenzie, far side wing, working opposite of Delario, into the corner to Phyllis. Phyllis looks to drive along the baseline, goes up with a shot, actually passes it to Hughes. Hughes bank shot in front of the rim, can't fall, and the rebound goes to Allen, who pushes quickly for Ohio Northern, kicks it out, 3 on the way, far side wing, off the side of the rim, no good, tipped around in the backcourt. ONU gets the rebound. Allen pulls it down, pulls up a jumper from the elbow, and he's able to bury it from about 12 feet out for Ohio Northern, and they've scored the past 4 points in this basketball game, and Otterbein's lead is cut to 3, 7-4, 13:33 left to go in the first half.
Otterbein really having trouble breaking this press right now, David. Jake Phyllis is having to dribble through it.
Phyllis along the baseline, and he stepped out of bounds as he was trying to run right into an ONU double team, and he stepped on the baseline. That'll be the Card's second turnover of the game. Checking in the game for Otterbein will be Grant Finner, and he'll replace Matt Hughes. We'll also see Miller checking the game, and he'll replace Phyllis at the point guard position.
That was quick, David. Trey Miller now back in the game. One of your better ball handlers. Smart move by Coach Adrian. Struggling to get the ball and get your offense set up, and you put in one of your better point guards. That's a good move by Coach Adrian.
Ohio Northern basketball, right side of the floor. Quick three-pointer on the way from Allen's no good. Rebound pulled down by Mark McEwen. Otterbein on top, 7-4 here from the right. 13:08 left to go in the first half. You're on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network. McKenzie has it near side wing, trying to find someone down low, working opposite of Allen. Looks to drive across from him, throws it over to the far side corner. 3 on the way from Moyer. Rattles in and out, no good. Rebounds pulled down by Diario. He hands it off to Allen, who brings it across center circle. Lobs it back out. Three-pointer on the way. Diario, far side wing to tie. It's no good. Tipped into the backcourt by Hughes. It's McKenzie who picks it up. One-on-one. McKenzie cuts into the lane, and he's fouled before he has a chance to complete his shot. And we will see the 5th foul of the game on Ohio Northern.
They're going to get it on Allen as he reached in to get Brian McKenzie, but a great Euro step there from Brian McKenzie to get around. I believe it was Feet Shands who was down there trying to take a charge. Nice Euro step by Brian McKenzie, and now he's at the line where he's been so good.
McKenzie knocks down the first. As Elijah said, a whole lot of success at the charity stripe for the sophomore out of Westlake, Ohio. 44 of 55 for 80% coming to this game, and he buries the pair. And Otterbein has doubled their lead now. Excuse me, they've increased it to more than double, 9-4 on top of Ohio Northern with 12:35 left to go in the first half. As Ohio Northern has it on the right side of the floor. Threes bounce pass into the low block, tipped away and poked out from behind. Moyer comes away with it. Chase Moyer pushes it down the floor, and he loses the ball himself as it ends up in the hands of Ohio Northern. They lob it deep down the floor. Cutting towards the hoop is Martin. Martin back out to the top of the three-point line. Running along the right side of the lane is Allen, and he gets a layup to fall on the right side of the rim, and it's a 9-6 ball game. Otterbein on top. Otterbein inbounding from the right baseline. It's McKenzie who sends it in with a bounce pass to Grant Finner. Finner will throw it across the floor to Miller, who will slowly bring it down the floor for the Otterbein Cardinals, who have a 3-point lead. He has the ball high on the left side of the floor, picks up his dribble, gets to McKenzie at the free throw line, bounce pass in the low block to McEwen. McEwen spinning, cutting between 2 defenders. His layup's no good. Can't get his rebound, and it goes to Devon Allen for Ohio Northern. Allen sends it across the floor to Diario, into the low block to Treese, posting up on McEwen with a right hook shot over the top of the head of McEwen on the right side of the baseline, and it's a 1-point ball game now, 9-8. Otterbein on top with 11:33 to go in the first half of our ball game. Matt Hughes will check in the game for Coach Adrian, and he'll replace Mark McEwen.
Yeah, that was a good finish there by Threese over top of Mark McEwen. But right now, David, Otterbein just needs to slow down. They're going too fast right now. Before that bucket, David, Ohio Northern was shooting 23%. They're only up to 28, 29%. So Otterbein doing a good job of holding Ohio Northern to a very low field goal percentage.
It's Miller III who brings it across center circle for Otterbein. Bounce pass it into the high block to Finner. Finner back out to Miller near side wing. Passes open a 3-point opportunity and an offensive foul on the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's going to be on Chase Moyer. He leaned his shoulder in a bit and for a guy like that to do that. Normally it goes unnoticed when a guard sets a screen just because the post is normally able to just kind of fight through it. But Chase Moyer there put a little too much shoulder into it, and they get the foul on him. So now Otterbein up to 3 team fouls.
That'll be the first of the half on Chase Moyer. Ohio Northern with 5 fouls, Otterbein with 3. Allen has it at the top of the key. Bounce passes it near side wing to Threes. Threes working opposite of Hughes. Gets it back out to the top of the key to number 12, Jordan Martin, who will send it to Diario. Passes into the low block to Threes, posting up on Hughes, and they're going to get a foul on Matt Hughes as Threes tried to do the exact same play he did last time, turn around in the low block and go up with a shot on the basket, but Hughes must have got a piece of his hand that time, and we will see number 40, Aaron Threes, the sophomore center, go to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, David, and Hughes knew it too. He knew he was going to that left shoulder, and he was going to go with the right hook, and he tried to strip it away, just mistimed it and got too much of the arm of Threes as he misses the first free throw. But a good job by Matt Hughes in making him go to earn it from the line, because if Threes had got that shot up, he's so good with that right hook.
Threes with not a whole lot of experience at the line this year, just 6 of 11 coming into this game, 54%. That was the second foul of the game on Hughes. Otterbein's 4th. We'll see McKenzie check out of the game. He'll be replaced by last year's Conference Freshman of the Year, Jake Phillis.
And David, you mentioned that Ohio Northern is going to jack it up from deep. They're 0 of 7 to start this basketball game from beyond the arc.
Reese knocks down the second one, and we are tied up for the first time since the scoreboard read goose eggs, 9 apiece. 10:50 left to go in the first half. Moyer has it in the far side corner for Otterbein. Bounce passes it, no look to Finner. And the block has his shot rejected away from behind. Hughes is fighting for it, and we have a jump ball as players hit the deck, and the officials quick to separate everybody. The possession arrow does favor Otterbein, so they'll keep possession of the basketball as Hughes was getting into it with Threes that time, trying to wrestle the ball away from him, and possession arrow favors the Cardinals, so they'll keep it. And
Matt Hughes was actually helped up by his former high school teammate there from Bishop Watterson, Joey Diorio. So a little exchange there as well.
So Otterbein will inbound left baseline. Miller will be asked to do so with 10:45 remaining in the first half, and his team tied up with ONU 9 apiece. Deep inbound pass goes to Finner, who throws it right back to Jake Phillis, who's barking out a play near center circle. Phillis sends it over to Miller, high on the right side of the floor, working opposite of Diario. Into the corner, they go to Hughes. Hughes on the far side corner, looks to cut towards the basket, feeds it to Finner in the low block. Finner will back up his dribble beyond the three-point arc. Back out to Phillis, high on the right. Shot clock's down to 12 for Otterbein now, as Phillis again calls out another play off of a screen from Hughes over to Moyer near side wing. Finner, three-pointer on the way from the near side corners off the side of the rim, no good. Diario pulls down the rebound for the black and orange, and they look to push quickly. Bounce pass in the low block to Threes. Looks to feed it into the key, and it's intercepted away from Matt Hughes that time, who comes up with a steal. He'll get it to Jake Phillis, near side wing. Phillis circles the three-point arc, going off of a screen from Hughes over to Miller, far side corner. Back out to Finner at the point. Finner gets it to the left point to Chase Moyer. Moyer feeds it down low to Hughes, almost has it tipped away. Ball's on the floor, fighting for it, 2-on-1, and that's going to be a Ohio Northern basketball.
Well, they're going to call a timeout there as Matt Hughes got the timeout right before the jump ball. Good job by Hughes of having the awareness to call the timeout. He saw the referee was right there, standing there, and he got to him before they got that jump ball. But David, right now, Otterbein, it's a 9-9 basketball game, but it could be a lot worse if you're Ohio Northern. They started off very cold, and now Otterbein has gone cold. It's kind of gone back and forth. Otterbein now shooting 27%. They started off this game shooting around 40%, so they're going to have to find a way to get their offense moving, because right now they're starting their offense way too far out on the perimeter. I'm sure Coach Adrian is telling his guys that right now. He probably wants it closer to the three-point line. They're starting it out more closer to half court, and that's something that if you're Ohio Northern, that's a benefit right there if you're starting out that offense so far out on the perimeter.
Otterbein's lost 4 in a row to Ohio Northern. As we said, they've already played once this year, that way back on December 3rd, a 78-67 loss in Ada. Otterbein didn't have Grant Finner in that one, still coming back from that injury. Hughes had a career-high 21 points in that game for Otterbein, but the Cards couldn't overcome their 17 turnovers to fall in their first conference game of the season. Inbound pass goes to Jake Phillips on the left side of the floor. He takes a lean-in jumper on the right baseline and can't get it to fall. Rebound pulled down by Ohio Northern, and they'll send it over to Allen, who looks to push down the floor. Allen, far side wing, gets it to Diario at the point, going off of a screen, holds his dribble near side wing. Bounce pass in the low block to Threes. Threes posting up against Hughes, has it poked away from behind, and Phillips comes up with it. 3-on-1 for Otterbein. Bounce passes it to Moyer, goes up with a layup on the right side of the rim. Can't get it to fall. It goes out of bounds, though, off the hands. Last touch by an Ohio Northern player, and it will remain with Otterbein on the left side of the floor. Cardinals not taking advantage of easy opportunities. A 3-on-1 fast break that time. Can't come away with the layup.
Yeah, it's been a while since a Cardinal basket has went through the hoop right now. They're just struggling from the floor because that's a layup that Chase Moyer normally hits.
Quick inbound pass goes to Jake Phillips. He loses possession of the ball on the pass, and it falls out of bounds off his shoe right in front of the Ohio Northern bench, and that'll be the 4th Cardinal turnover of the ball game. Both teams with 4 turnovers now. Still tied up at 9 apiece, which seems like it's been the score for an eternity now. 9-12. Left to go in the first half as Allen brings it across the floor, hands it off to Threes. Threes at the right point, working opposite of Hughes, and we have a whistle as he tries to pass it into the low block. We'll see who they get it on.
Very good on Grant Fenner here as he had a little bit of the arm on the hold, and it was actually down Fedishans that was down there.
Fenner's first, team's 5th. Both teams with 5 fouls in the first half. Now quick inbound pass goes to Threes in the low block, posting up on Hughes, goes up on the left, no good. Able to crash the boards as Fenner and come away with the rebound. Now he's being double teamed in the corner, gets it to Miller, who brings it across center stripe for Otterbein. All tied up at 9 apiece with 8:50 left to go in the first half. Miller still high on the right side of the floor, working opposite of Martin, far side wing. Hands it off to Jake Phillips. Phillips pivoting off of his right, gets it into the corner to Miller on the far side of the floor, still working against Martin. Pump fakes a few times. Now he's being double teamed. Lobs it into the low block to Hughes, who tries to get it to Fenner at the free throw line, and it's intercepted away by Ohio Northern. Allen has it near side wing now. Cuts towards the basket, behind the back dribble. Out to Diario at the point. Back out to Allen. 3 on the way with Phil's hand in his face is no good. Rebound secured in the backcourt by Ohio Northern. Going up with the left. It's no good. Threes is there for the second rebound, and that time he's there for the putback right of the rim. And Ohio Northern has their first lead of the game, 11-9. And Threes is now up to 5 points in the ball game. With 8 minutes left to go in the first half, Otterbein brings it across half court, and we have a quick whistle and a foul on Ohio Northern. And they're also going to have a timeout as Ohio Northern wants to talk things over, and they're going to let substitutes check into the game, and a whole lot of substitutes. Otterbein will send off of the floor Moyer, Miller, and Hughes, and they will be replaced by McKenzie, Christian Meister, and Mark McEwen.
And David, since Brian McKenzie's free throws with 12:40 to go in the half, Otterbein is yet to have a bucket.
Meister, the sophomore out of Grove City, circles the three-point arc, picks up his dribble on the far side wing. He's being double teamed now. Might have to call a timeout. Hands it off behind him to McKenzie. Bounce pass into low block to Fenner. Fenner goes up on the layup on the left side, and the big guy is able to bully his way down low and come up with an easy layup to tie us back up at 11 apiece. Rue has it near side wing. Now gets it to Pennington. Sends it over to the far side wing to Hurlis. Hurlis dribbles the three-point arc. Gets it with a pass to Connor Baker. Baker back over to Rue, far side wing, lobs into low block to Pennington. Turns, faces the basket, back out to Hurlis. Hurlis will pass it to Rue. Rue to Pennington, far side wing. Out to Hurlis at the top of the three-point arc. Shot clock down to 10 seconds. Hurlis running along the left side of the lane. Goes up with a layup, sits on the rim, and falls no good. McEwen gets the rebound, tries to go quickly, and passes it to Phyllis. Phyllis wasn't ready for the pass, goes off his hands and into the Otterbein bench, and that'll be the 6th Cardinal turnover of the game. 7:10 left to go in the first half. All tied up in a very low-scoring affair. 11 points each. Hurlis has it top of the three-point line. Moves his dribble far side wing. Bounce pass it to Pennington in the low block. Turnaround jumper from the low block, and he's able to bury it right in front of Mark McEwen, and Owen Hughes back on top, 13-11. Inbound pass goes to Jake Phillips from McKenzie. Phillips, who scored double figures in his past 7 games, brings it across center stripe for Otterbein with 6:45 to go in the first half, with an awkward shot in the layup for Phillips as he hits the deck, and he also runs into Pennington, and they both hit the deck. We have a foul.
It's going to go on Pennington. It's going to be a block as he didn't get over in time. It's going to be a 1-on-1 situation here, as they say he was passing to Mark McEwen. I don't know that he just shot that and airballed it.
Yeah, that's what I would say. And a big matchup down low. Pennington 6'4". Phyllis lifts it at just 5'11", but he's able to knock him down. And the first is on the way of the 1-on-1, and it rattles out for Jake Phillips, usually a clutch free throw shooter. Hurlis looking to score in transition. Feeds it to Rue in the low block. Rue kicks it out to the top of the three-point arc, and almost tipped away from behind is Radakovic. They'll get it back out to Rue. Rue will send it over to Hurlis, near side wing, swings it around the three-point arc to Pennington, near side wing, and a pushing foul, looks like on Mark McEwen away from the ball. And if it's so, that'll be the 6th foul of the half on Otterbein. It'll be McEwen's 2nd, and Ohio Northern with a 2-point lead with 6:24 left to go in the first half. Inbounding from the right baseline. Hurlis quickly bounce passes it into the low block. Going up with a layup on the right side, and no good. There for his own rebound is Baker, and he'll kick it back out to Rue at the top of the three-point line. Rue sends it over to Hurlis, near side wing, working opposite of Phyllis, off of a screen, cuts towards the basket, bounce passes it underneath the hoop to Rue, who tries to save it from going out of bounds, and he does so by throwing it off of the leg of Christian Meister, and it goes out of bounds off of Otterbein. Phyllis will check out of the game. Miller will replace him as the point guard. Hurlis inbounding from the right baseline for the Polar Bears, up 13-11. Throws it to the top of the key to Rue. Rue looking to cut towards the basket, working against Meister. Bullies his way down low. No good. Meister gets the rebound for Otterbein. He's looking to push quickly. Now he'll slow things out, and we have a carry. Meister, who looked like he was going 100 miles an hour down the floor, decided at the last second he wanted to slow things down, and in the process, he carried the basketball, and that'll be the 7th Cardinal turnover of the game. Otterbein trailing 13-11 with 5:55 left to go in the first half. Hurlis looks to cut towards the basket. He goes up with a layup on the left side. No good. It's too hard. McEwen gets the rebound for Otterbein. Very low-scoring affair. 13-11. Otterbein trailing as Miller brings it across center stripe. Calls out a play near the half-court line where he's guarded by Hurlis. He's at the top of the key now where he picks up his dribble. Bounce passes to Finner. Finner will throw it to Meister cutting towards the basket, and he airballed the layup. Ohio Northern gets the rebound. Hurlis brings it down the floor, holds his dribble, kicks it out. Three-pointer on the way. Far side wing off the side of the rim for Baker. No good. And the rebound goes to Mark McEwen, who will hand it off to Miller, who will slowly bring it down the floor for the Tannen Cardinal. Gets it across the time stripe with 5:12 left to go in the first half. Feeds it to Meister right in front of the ONU bench on the near sideline. Off of a screen from McEwen over to the far side wing. He's being double teamed now. Tries to get through the double team. Out to McEwen. 3 on the way from the near side wing. It's up. Sits on the front of the rim, and it falls in for Otterbein. The first three-pointer of the game we've seen for either team after 11 unsuccessful attempts. And we have a timeout on the floor. Otterbein now with a 1-point lead with 4:56 to go in the first half. 14-13. The Cardinals have the lead over the Polar Bears. A huge three-pointer from McEwen there. And what a job from Meister to fight through that double team on the far side wing to find him so wide open.
Yeah, he did it so fundamentally well, David. They teach you that you go with your leg through first, and he went right through with his leg. He was able to see out of the double team and find McEwen on the near side wing for a wide open look. And now Coach Adrian took that 30-second timeout because he wants his guys to settle down. This game has gone into the hands of Ohio Northern. They're playing at the pace that Ohio Northern wants. And really, Ohio Northern just hasn't hit shots. I mean, Otterbein shooting only 31%, but Ohio Northern also shooting 24% this basketball game. They're 6 of 25, and David, you mentioned it, they'll jack up threes. They've jacked up 9 of them, and 0 of them have gone in. So Ohio Northern really not shooting the basketball very well to begin this game.
We saw 11 three-pointers missed before Mark McEwen finally knocked that one down from the near side wing for Otterbein, and it gives them a 1-point lead, 14-13, with 4:50 left to go in the first half as Ohio Northern operates left to right as we view them. Hurlis will feed into the low block for Pennington, who's there for an easy layup on the right side of the rim, and ONU's back on top, 15-14. A breakdown in defensive coverage there for Otterbein as they left Pennington wide open. Inbound goes to Meister, who's being double teamed in the far side corner, and he's going to have to call a timeout as Otterbein cannot figure out the trap of Ohio Northern here in this first half. And that time Meister can't break the double team, and he has to burn the timeout with 4:32 to go in the first half. Otterbein on top, trailing 15-14.
Yeah, a lot of heated discussion down there for Otterbein as there's just a lot of confusion on this press that Ohio Northern is throwing at him. It's just a man-to-man press, full court face guarding type of style, and Otterbein's having trouble with it because right when you turn your back, David, they trap you, they jump you, and Otterbein has struggled with that this season, and teams really have been able to force Otterbein to make turnovers when they press like that, and already Otterbein with 7 turnovers. They average around 18 per game, so we'll see if they can stay below their average, but they're going to have to if they want to win this basketball game here tonight.
Crowd's gotten a little bit better here at the Reich Center as some of Adrian's Army has filed in, and the bleachers are about half full on either side of the gym on the east stands and the west stands. As we said, Otterbein trying to snap a 5-game losing skid. Ohio Northern coming into this one off a disappointing loss to Capital last Saturday, 69-65, in which they had the lead with just 4 minutes to go in that game. Couldn't hold on down the stretch with the Crusaders. Lucas Piddington tied a career high with 19 points in that one. And as we said, so pivotal is this game in the OAC standings. Ohio Northern sitting right above Otterbein in the league standings, 3-7 overall. Otterbein 2-8. Only the top 8 teams make the OAC tournament. We said in the pregame show, probably a must-win game for Otterbein, if not this one. Certainly Saturday's matchup in New Concord with Muskingum. As always, Coach Todd Adrian taking as long as the officials will grant him to talk things over with his team. OU long broke their huddle. He'll have Finner, McEwen, Miller, Meister, and McKenzie, the 5 on the floor. With his team trailing by 1 in a low-scoring affair with 4:32 left to go in the first half. McKenzie just barely gets the inbound as he's approaching that 5-second violation. Gets it to McEwen, who will hand right back off to McKenzie. McKenzie brings it across center circle, feeds it all the way down the floor to Finner. Finner into the low block, goes up with an awkward shot right in front of the rim. It sits on the front of the rim and can't fall. Rebound goes to Hurlis for ONU. Hurlis kicks it out to Tress, far side wing, cuts towards the basket. Back to Hurlis, 3 on the way, top of the key, spins in and out, no good. McKenzie's able to bat it up in the air and pull down the board for Otterbein. He'll hand it off to Miller, who brings it down the floor. Miller cuts towards the basket, up and under, a layup between 2 defenders, can't get it to fall, but he's fouled. And we're gonna see Otterbein go to the charity stripe for just the 2nd time in this ball game. The foul gonna go on number 1, Joey Hurlis. That'll be his first, and it'll be team's 8th.
And David, when Grant Fenner took that shot in front of the rim, it was a good look from Grant Fenner. It just came off his hand a little weird, but I thought he had Christian Meister open in the near side corner for a 3 as Miller misses the first free throw. But Christian Meister was open in the near side corner, and Coach Adrian talked about him not just being a shooter, but he has shot the ball very well this season from beyond the arc.
Miller shooting 61% this year from the line. 11 of 18 coming into the game, and he's able to knock down the second of the 2, and we're tied back up at 15 apiece. 4 minutes remain in the first half of our ball game as Hurlis brings it down the floor for the orange and black. He'll have it at the top of the key, sends it near side wing to Martin. Martin back out to Hurlis at the point, working opposite of Miller. Gets it to Tress, long 2-pointer on the way from the wing, no good. Tress tries to save it from going out of bounds along the right baseline by throwing it between the legs as he's falling towards the cushion wall, but steps out of bounds, so it will be Otterbein basketball. McKenzie inbounding from the right baseline.
Yeah, Thress right there. He had a good look, just couldn't knock it down. That's been the story for Ohio Northern here tonight.
Trying to break the press, but he has to throw it shortly to Grant Finner, who will hand it off to Miller, who brings it across center circle, fighting through a double team. Miller cuts towards the basket, over to Phyllis, pump fakes a 3-pointer, steps inside the arc, out to McEwen, 3 on the way, sits off the crossbar, no good. Finner's able to get a great rebound with 2 guys on top of him, and with a fresh shot clock, he'll send it back out to Trey Miller III, who barks out a play near the scorer's table.
Great hustle by Grant Fenner on the offensive glass, relentless. Good job by Fenner to save the possession.
Meister at the top of the key picks up his dribble, over to Miller, looking to go off of a screen from Fenner, cuts towards the hoop, backs it off, feeds it to Finner. Just 12 on the shot clock now. Finner holding his dribble near side wing, bounce passes it far side wing to Meister. Gives it to McEwen, who cuts towards the basket. His layup's a little short. Gets his own rebound. His putback is good, right to the rim. And Otterbein on that possession gets 2 huge offensive rebounds. And they break the tie and have a 17-15 lead with 2:45 left to go.
Mark McEwen quietly with 6 rebounds already in this basketball game.
Hugh gets it to Tress at the free throw line. Sends it over far side wing to Radovich. Cutting towards the basket. Up and under, layup with the left. And he gets it to fall left to the rim.
Good
and it's
finish.
back to a tied ball game, 17 apiece, as Miller tries to work opposite of Rue and bring it across the floor for the Otterbein Cardinals. Gets it to Meister, near side wing in front of the ONU bench. Over to McEwen, top of the 3-point arc. Passes it off to Miller, into the corner to McEwen, the far side corner, where he's guarded by Baker. Dribbles around the 3-point arc, cuts between the defenders, feeds it to McEwen, takes a jumper from the left baseline from 10 feet out. It's no good, but we have a whistle and a foul as Otterbein was trying to collide for the rebound underneath the hoop that time.
And I think McKenzie let that pass go a little too early. He might have been able to draw the defender in and kick it out so McEwen had more of a wide open look or even shoot the basketball. And I think Coach Purley wanted him to take that layup there because he made such a nice move to get around the double team. They hedged out high, Ohio Northern did, and he came, made his way around the double team, was able to get inside the lane. Good job of penetrating by Brian McKenzie.
Aaron Thrass at the right line shooting 1-1, and he knocks it down. Not a whole lot of experience this year at the charity stripe for the sophomore, just 6 of 11 coming into this game. The foul was on Brian McKenzie, his first, team 7th, so both teams in the bonus now. Otterbein with 7 committed, ONU with 8, and Thress is able to knock down the pair, and that puts ONU back on top. 19-17, 2:04 to go in our ball game.
Ohio Northern has switched up the press. They're now in a 2-1-2 press here.
McKenzie struggling to bring it across half court for Otterbein. He does so. He'll feed it to Miller. Miller cutting towards the basket. Out to McEwen, and it's intercepted by Rue. Outlets it deep down the floor to Hurlis, going up with a layup on the left side. No good. Foul. Christian Meister as he knocks him down to the ground as he's going up with that layup. And we will see the sophomore point guard out of Van Wert, Ohio, go to the right line and shoot 2.
Yeah, it was a good job there by Christian Meister to pick up that foul, because Hurlis had an open layup. Good job of him to run all the way down the floor and contest that layup.
Hurlis is able to knock down the first, and he's now 17 of 25 from the line this year. That was the first foul of the game on Christian Meister. Both teams have committed 8 in the first half. Hurlis, second on the way, sits on the front of the rim, and it falls in. And ONU with their largest lead of the ball game now, 4 points, 21-17. $1:45 left to go in our first half. As Meister working opposite of Hurlis, bounce passes it across center stripe to Miller, back out to Meister, feeds into the low block to McKenzie, to Moyer, far side wing, pump fakes a 3-pointer, feeds it to McEwen in the low block, working opposite of Tress. I'll hand it off to McKenzie. Pumps a 3-pointer from NBA range. It's off the front of the rim, no good. Rue gets the rebound for the Polar Bears. Pushes it down the floor over to the far side wing. Bounce pass it into the low block. Layup missed by ONU. Rebound goes to Daryl Miller III. Pushes down the floor, spinning in the lane with a shot, no good, but we have a whistle and a foul, and Otterbein will go back to the charity stripe to try to shoot 2 as they're going to get the foul on Isaiah Rue, the senior guard out of Orlando, Florida, his first, team's 9th.
And that's twice that Daryl Miller III has been able to penetrate in the lane off a spin. We saw it earlier. He spun in between 2 Ohio Northern defenders and got in the lane right there. Got in the lane, made a nice spin move, and drew the foul.
The first on the way from Daryl Miller is up, and it's no good. And he's now 1 for 3 from the charity stripe. As we said in the pregame show, he is wearing a brace on his right shoulder. Probably affects his shooting motion in some way, whether he admitted it or not, and he knocks down the second, and he is now 2 for 4 from the line and has 4 points in this ball game. 1 minute left to go in the first half. Otterbein trailing 21-18. Hurlis has it high on the right side of the floor, working opposite of Miller near the scorer's table. Now he cuts towards the top of the key. Pump fakes a 3-pointer, running down the right side of the lane. A foul as he cuts towards the basket on Otterbein on number 1, Christian Meister. A holding foul.
They actually got it on Daryl Miller III as he reached in. He tried to get him from behind, so that's going to be his first of the game. But David, interesting statistic. Jake Phillips, he's on the bench right now. He's got no points in this game.
First on the way of the 1-and-1 from Hurlis. Spins in and out, no good. There for the rebound is Connor Baker underneath the hoop, but he stepped on the baseline, and it will remain with Otterbein inbounding from the right baseline. Jace Moyer will quickly get it to Miller. There's a difference in the shot clock and the game clock of about 12 seconds as Miller brings it across the floor, and he's double teamed as he gets it near center circle to Moyer, feeds it to Meister near side wing. Meister with a between the leg dribble, working opposite of Rue, over to Miller near half court. Game clock down to 30 seconds, shot clock down to 12. Top of the 3-point line, working opposite of Rue. Bounce pass into low block to McKenzie, spinning, goes up with a right, no good. Can't get the bank shot to fall, but we have a whistle and a foul on Ohio Northern.
That's going to be
against Otterbein, excuse me.
That's going to be a bad foul there on Mark McEwen as he went over the back. Really didn't have great position and just kind of jumped up over the back of Connor Baker. So 19.4 seconds. I guess this could be a win-win situation for Otterbein. If he misses these free throws, you get the last shot of the half, but not a great foul for McEwen. He picks up his second personal.
That'll be McEwen's second, as Elijah said, and it will put ONU into the double bonus. The first on the way from Connor Baker, and he knocks it down. A local guy, went to Ada High School, a former Ada High Bulldog. The sophomore getting the start in today's game. Shooting from the right line as Phyllis and Hughes head to the scorer's table for Coach Adrian, and they'll check into the game as Baker knocks down the pair, and ONU increases their lead 23-18. 19 seconds to go in the first half. The shot clock is turned off, and you expect Otterbein to make this their last possession of what has been a very low scoring and a very sloppy first half out of both teams.
And you got to imagine that it's going to be a screen for Jake Phillips in some way, try and get him going right before the end of the half.
Phillips will get it to Meister. Meister sends it over to the corner. 3 on the way from McEwen's no good. Rebound goes to Hurlis with 7 on the game clock. He pushes down the floor. Hurlis at the top of the three-point line, cuts towards it. Two-pointer on the way from the free throw line. He airballs it. McEwen gets the rebound, chucks it deep down the floor, but the buzzer had already sounded, and the first half has come to the end here in the Reich Center. Otterbein trailing the Polar Bears 23-18 at intermission. We're going to take a quick break, though. When we come back, we'll get you statistics and analysis from this game as well as scores from around the OAC, and we'll also have the trivia question. 23-18, our halftime score. Otterbein trailing Ohio Northern. You're listening to Otterbein Basketball on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Hey Westerville, did you know there is only one showcase on WOBN that features country music? I am talking about Campus Country. I'm here every Monday night at 8 playing the best country music. There's always time for country artist news, and on my show, you'll get to hear the newest songs and unreleased songs that you can't hear on those big stations. So tune into Campus Country every Monday night at 8 o'clock right here on your college radio station, 97.5 The Wild Card.
WOBN 97.5 is your seat to Cardinal basketball this season. WOBN will have live coverage of 25 men's and women's basketball games. Be sure to tune in for the pregame show 15 minutes before tip-off and stay with us after the game for stats, analysis, and player and coach interviews. Check out WOBN.net for a complete broadcast schedule.
Would your business survive a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency. And 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
This is Marshall Crum, senior forward on your Otterbein basketball team, and you're listening to Cardinal Basketball on 97.5 WOBN, Westerville, Ohio, your source for Otterbein athletics.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
Warm fleece on a cold day. I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Today is Saturday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov. A message from USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
This presentation of Otterbein basketball on the radio is brought to you by our sponsors: Ohio Health, Roush Honda, BMI Federal Credit Union, and Westerville Automotive.
I used to be one of those irresponsible guys, always goofing off and acting like a real jerk. Girls wouldn't give me the time of day. Hey, Julie, do you have the time?
Shut up.
Then, 30 days before my 18th birthday, I went down to my local post office and registered with Selective Service overnight.
I became aware of the man I had suddenly become, eligible for federal student loans, government jobs, and job training, responsible and mature. Hi, Julie. Dinner tonight?
I'd love to, Brad.
So register with Selective Service. It's what a man's gotta do.
And we welcome you back to the Reich Center here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network 97.5. I'm David Kinder. Elijah Gonzalez off to my left here at the radio desk, and the Otterbein Cardinals in a bit of a dogfight here at the halftime break, trailing Ohio Northern 23-18. We want to thank everyone for tuning in to our broadcast, and you're listening to the BMI halftime show. BMI Federal Credit Union is open to everyone who lives, works, worships, or attends schools in Franklin, Licking, Fairfield, Madison Union, Delaware, or Morrow County. BMI Credit Union is federally insured by the National National Credit Union Administration. Let's take a look at our halftime statistics. Neither team shooting it particularly well from the field. Ohio Northern 8 of 31 from the field, 25%, 0 of 10 from long range, 7 of 9 from the charity stripe. They've got 20 boards, 7 on the offensive end of things, turned the ball over 4 times. Their largest lead is the one they currently have at 5 points. Otterbein, 6 of 24 from the field. That's also 25%, 1 of 7 behind the arc, 5 of 8 from the charity stripe. They have 23 rebounds, 6 on the offensive end of the things. They have 8 turnovers, and their largest lead has been 7 points. Leading the way in scoring at the halftime break for Ohio Northern is Aaron Thress. He's got 7 points, including 2 of 4 from the field and 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. Right below him with 4 points is Allen and Lucas Pennington. Leading the way in scoring for Otterbein, well, there's a whole lot of players tied around low single-digit numbers. Matt Hughes, Mark McEwen both have 5. Miller has 4, and each with 2 is McKenzie and Finner, and that is all the scoring for Otterbein. So Elijah, taking a look at the box score of this game so far, I think a couple things stick out for you. The most, I shouldn't say impressive, the most alarming would be the fact that Jake Phillips, who coming to this one had scored double figures in 7 straight games, has been held scoreless in the first half of our ball game.
Yeah, it's been a tough game for Jake Phillips, but David, he's only taken 3 shots in this basketball game. He's not been as aggressive as we've seen him in the past couple of games, but really, if you look at one positive for Otterbein, it's the fact that Mark McEwen is playing very well inside. He's got 8 rebounds in this game. He's got 5 points, and with a good second half, he could be on his way to a double-double. That would be his first of the season. But Mark McEwen is a guy who's averaging 4 and 4 per game, and he quietly makes a big impact for this Otterbein team, and he's really emerged, in my opinion, as one of the better big men on this basketball team, and he has really complemented Matt Hughes very well. And that's something to look forward to in this half. They're going to have to rebound a little bit better on the defensive glass. There's a couple of buckets that in this game that Ohio Northern got on the offensive glass. Thress got a couple inside. He got an easy garbage bucket where no one put a body on him. So Otterbeins have to rebound a little bit better, and they're really going to have to get Jake Phillips going. They're going to have to give him some ball screens. He's going to have to find a way to get through those and get that mid-range jumper that he's so good with this year, get that going. And really Chase Moyer also has to get going. A guy who shot very well against Mount Union, have to get him going in this basketball game if they want to find a way to win.
McEwen also with the only 3-pointer in 17 attempts for either team in this game. And let's go back to Phyllis for a little bit. Only played 11 minutes in that first half, Elijah. We're used to seeing him play 35 minutes throughout the course of the game. Really didn't see him as much on the floor as we're used to with Coach Adrian. Obviously, a whole lot of good guards to substitute in there for him, but not as much playing time as we're used to in the first half for Jake.
Yeah, you might not like the way he was playing. I'm not really sure, but, you know, you mentioned it. He didn't play as much in this half. He did struggle again from the field. Only took 1 3-pointer. It was a very good look, but it was contested. A tough shot. From the foul line, he had a chance in the 1-on-1 situation, couldn't knock it down. So Phyllis just having a rough half, and you know, players have those, and we'll see if he can get back on track in the second half. But I really expect him to find a way to get to the bucket. He's so good at it, and I really expect this to be a better shooting half, not only for Otterbein, but for both sides.
Very fortunate for Otterbein. Ohio Northern's lead isn't much more. They're 0 for 10 from long range in this game. You got to imagine if you're Coach Adrian that those long shots are going to start falling for the Bears.
Well, you know, David, this is a team that struggled this entire year by going with their game plan, which is just to jack up threes. So maybe they're playing the game, or they're having the game plan that they want right now. And you know, this Otterbein is one of the teams in this conference that really holds teams to low field goal percentages, and we talked about it in the pregame and also throughout this season that they've done a good job of that against pretty much every team that they've played, held teams under about 38%. So Otterbein really doing what they have to do right now in this basketball game. Just offensively, they just need to get things going. Defensively, I think they're fine. When you hold a team to 23 points in the first 20 minutes of a basketball game, you're playing pretty darn good defense. It's just offense that they have to get rolling.
23-18, our halftime score. We'll take our second break of the BMI halftime show. When we come back, we'll get you scores from around the Ohio Athletic Conference and the trivia question. You're listening to Cardinal Basketball with David Kinder and Elijah Gonzalez here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network, 97.5 WOBN. We'll be right back after this.
As a referee, I pay attention for a living. While I'm busy watching the game, I need your help keeping an eye on the stands.
If you see something that doesn't look quite right, tell a law enforcement official.
We all play an important role in protecting our communities, and you can help.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
If you see something, say something is used with permission by the New York Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Hey Cardinal fans, Otterbein Athletics on the Radio is brought to you in part by Westerville Automotive. Serving the Westerville area for 20 years, they have 2 locations on Westerville Road and in the Uptown area, just seconds away from Otterbein on Main Street. They're on the web at westervilleautomotive.com. You can follow them on Facebook at Westerville Automotive Uptown or call them at 614-890-6700. That's Westerville Automotive.
Hi, I'm Mark McEwen, junior forward on your Otterbein basketball team, and you're listening to Cardinal Basketball on 97.5 WOBN in Westerville, Ohio, your source for Otterbein athletics.
Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m., join me, Shelby Snyder, for Shuffle Mode, only on WOBN 97.5. Shuffle Mode will provide the best music has to offer from the past, present, and any genre in between. Every week will be a new playlist with a new theme, only on WOBN 97.5 and streaming live anywhere in the world on WOBN.net.
At the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Federal Student Aid, we provide more than $150 billion each year in grants, loans, and work-study funds, making higher education possible for anyone. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more at studentaid.gov.
For the thousands of wounded warriors returning from battle, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a unique program that helps wounded warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. The Warriors to Work program also works with companies to find the right job for the right warrior. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
And we welcome you back to the Reich Center here in Westerville, Ohio, where the Otterbein Cardinals find themselves trailing the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern 23-18 here at the halftime break. David Kinder along with Elijah Gonzalez about 3 minutes before we tip things back off here in the second half. And let's get you some scores from around the Ohio Athletic Conference. Nothing too shocking so far in the other games. At the start of the second half, Mount Union on top of BW, 49-34 in Alliance. Wilmington is on top of Capital at the start of the second 20 minutes of that game, 39-30. Marietta all over Muskingum at the intermission, 45-29. And John Carroll has a lead over Heidelberg, 67-57, with about 5 minutes to go in the second half of that ball game. So not a whole lot of surprises in our round of OAC games today.
Yeah, not a lot of surprises. I expected these games not really to surprise us today. I guess you could call this game a surprise in the scoring total, only 23-18 here at the end of the first half. But yeah, again, no surprises, and the top team showing why they are the top teams.
As we said, Otterbein will take on Muskingum and New Concord next Saturday, a game you can hear right here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network. And coming up next for the Bears, they will host John Carroll in Ada on Saturday, and probably the second most exciting thing happening in Ada on Saturday. Ada, of course, is where the Wilson Football Factory is, so all the footballs for the Super Bowl manufactured in the city of Ada, so they'll be sent over to Arizona on Sunday for the big game, and that's about Ada's biggest claim to fame. But
yeah, and I'm gonna go out and say that this John Carroll Ohio Northern basketball game on Saturday, I'd say it's a little more exciting than inflating some balls. Maybe they're deflating them for the game. I don't think they'll get to the exact 12 psi when they get to Tom Brady, but you know, we'll see.
We'll see what happens. That's where it all probably started, is in the Ada factory.
You know, it'll come back and it'll say that Ada, Ohio was the reason that Tom Brady had deflated footballs.
And with about a minute to go before we start the second half of our ball game, again, if you just joined us, Otterbein trailing at the halftime break, 23-18 to Ohio Northern. I'm not really sure where we were going with that right there. That was just a time filler for the folks at home who were listening.
David, you know, quickly to mention before we get to the trivia question, Otterbein came out of the locker room only with a minute left in this halftime break. So Coach Adrian definitely talking to his guys, and I'm sure that Jake Phillips also is pretty vocal in that locker room, a guy who has struggled in that first half.
We certainly know that Coach Adrian always has a lot to say. And then with about a minute to go before we get back to things here in the second half, let's give you our trivia question, and I'm pretty confident in Elijah's ability to get this one right. Among current NBA players, who scored the most career points in their college career?
Okay.
So going back to their college days, only among guys currently on the NBA roster. Is it A, Tyler Hansborough, B, Vince Carter, C, Kevin Love from UCLA, or is it D, Doug McDermott? We'll give you a chance to think that one over. If you think you have an answer to today's trivia question, you can tweet in at WOBN, or you can text into the program. If you get it right, we'll give you a shout-out on the air and a free WOBN T-shirt. Again, among current NBA players who scored the most career points in college, Tyler Hansborough, Vince Carter, Kevin Love, Doug McDermott. We'll give you the answer to our trivia question the first time out of the second half.
I appreciate you not asking me who the 1953 national champion was, because that would not have been good.
They're always more subtle than things like that. They're usually not just straightforward questions like that. They involve some thinking.
They're usually who was the sixth man on the 1953 national championship team.
The important things in life.
The very important things in life. But again, it is 23-18. Ohio Northern has the lead, and they will have the basketball to begin this second half of play. Connor Baker, the Ada High School grad, will inbound it. He'll inbound it to Joey Hurlis here to begin the second half as the referee gives them the ball, and we're underway. Hurlis will bring it across the time stripe, right across Carty's chest. He gives it to Pennington on the right point. Pennington holds it there. He's been holding it for a while. Now puts down the ball with his left hand. Gives off to Connor Baker. Baker, top of the key now. Pull up three in the face of Brian McKenzie is long off the back rim. Rebound tipped around and grabbed there by Radkowitz. Now it's swung all the way down inside to Rue. He goes up and finishes on the left side of the rim. Good finish there by Isaiah Rue, and it's 25-18.
Yeah, ONU got 8 offensive rebounds in that first half. Otterbein's going to have to do a better job boxing out down low on missed Polar Bear shots.
Now it's Brian McKenzie high on the left, and he's trying to get around all the way around the perimeter. Now picks up his dribble on the near side wing. Goes to Mark McEwen in the near side corner. They swing it back out, and now Phillips will set it up high on the right as he waits for a screen from McEwen. Phillips comes off the screen, trying to get around Pennington, kicks it out to McEwen, who penetrates right baseline down the lane. It's a block that's going to be called there. Mark McEwen probably got lucky on that one, as Pennington is going to be called for the foul. It'll be the first of the half on Ohio Northern.
Yeah, McEwen went up really high for that shot too, and he kind of took the lower end of his defender that time and fell down, and luckily he fell kind of awkward, but he popped right back up. And as we said, third of the game on Pennington, first of the half on ONU, as the first one's missed by McEwen.
That's very rarity, a big rarity there from Mark McEwen this season. 18:59 to go, and Pennington has 3 fouls now in this basketball game. So we'll see if Ohio Northern keeps him in the game. Mark McEwen knocks down the second free throw.
Yeah, shooting 85% this year from the charity stripe, by far the best among Otterbein players.
Hurlis across the time stripe now and gives it off to Radkovic. He goes on to the far side wing to Pennington, and now they swing it all the way back around to Radkovic on the near side wing. Off a screen is Pennington from the elbow on the left side, no good. Rebound to Jake Phillips as he brings it up for Otterbein. Pulls it back out now at the top of the key, comes off a screen. Now has it high on the right, tries to go inside to Mark McEwen, threw it away as McEwen was open, but he threw it a bit too far and high for McEwen.
And that's the second bad pass we've seen from Phillips, and he's going to check out of the game, and Meister going to replace him. That time it resulted in the turnover. The first time it was on the last possession when he threw it to McEwen near side wing, and McEwen was wide open for a three-pointer if he could have made a nice pass to him, but the pass was way to his right, so he had to move his position over, and it resulted in a miss.
They go inside to Connor Baker now as he kicks it back out to Radkovic, who tries to penetrate. Left block, kicks it out. Pennington, 3 from the left point. Bang, knocks it down. Big shot there by Pennington, and we're up to a 9-point lead for Ohio Northern.
And you knew ONU wasn't going to miss every three-pointer they took. They're now 1 of 12 from beyond the arc.
Hughes bringing it across for Otterbein. He gets it stolen away by Joey Hurlis. Hurlis now bringing it across. Gets it over to Radkovic, 3 from the far side wing, and he knocks it down. It is now a 31-19 game, quickly going the wrong way for Otterbein as Daryl Miller III has it, looking to bring it across. He spins and gets it to Hughes across the time stripe. Hughes picks up his dribble high on the left and gives off to Daryl Miller III right at midcourt. Marshall Crum checks into the game.
As well does Aaron Malley.
So now it is going to be Daryl Miller III who turns it over. Isaiah Rue pushing in transition. Gives it to Baker on the right side of the rim. He goes up, it's no good. Tipped around, goes in the hands of Radkovic. They swing it to Pennington at the top of the key for a three. It's off the back rim, no good. Rebound to Brian McKenzie, and he'll bring it up for Otterbein across the time stripe. McKenzie running the point guard position as he comes off a screen from Hughes. Instead, he turns it down. Kicks it out to Meister now on the near side wing. They give it back to McKenzie in the near side corner. Comes off a screen from McEwen. He's fouled by Pennington. That's 4. So Pennington might have to check out of the game. As checking in is going to be 5 new players for Otterbein. So here goes this again, David. We saw it in Virginia.
Yeah, 3 of these guys haven't played at all in this game, including Malley, Umpleby, and Marshall Crum. Crum hasn't played in 2 games for Otterbein. Really fell out of the rotation, but he's in there now with a frustrated Coach Adrian.
So now it's Chase Moyer who gives it to Umpleby on the near side wing. Umpleby holds it there. Still holding on to it, almost threw it away. Grant Fenner saves it from going in the back court, up high on the left. Fenner dribbles it over now to the near side wing, gives it back to Umpleby. Umpleby gets it at the top of the key to Malley. They swing it on the far side wing. It's Grant Fenner guarded by Radkovic. Looking to penetrate. Now gives it off to Umpleby, who goes up right side of the rim and puts it in. Great finish by Ben Umpleby. We're back to a 10-point game with 16:25 and counting. Hurlis looking to penetrate and gets it taken away, and he is down on the floor. Chase Moyer quickly pushing, goes up on the left side of the rim. It's swatted away. Connor Baker pushing. Now it's Rue who looks to go up on the left side of the rim, and he gets it to go. Timeout is going to be called, as still down on the floor is Hurlis. He might have turned his ankle there.
And if you're Otterbein, you had a 5-on-4 down there, and you couldn't convert. Hurlis writhing in pain on the left side of the floor. You go down on the right side, and you try to score very quickly, and you come up with a bad layup. And, yeah, the athletic training staff is taking a look at that right ankle of Hurlis. He pops back up, but he's clearly favoring it. In a lot of pain down there right now.
Yeah, not sure. That definitely looks something like a high ankle sprain, as it definitely looks like he did turn his ankle, as that's what they were holding on to. We'll see if Hurlis does come back in this game. See if he just tightens up the shoelace and comes back in, as Connor Baker is going to be guarding the ball, as Grant Fenner will inbound for Otterbein. It's a 12-point game, 16-11. The clock is stopped. It'll start on the inbound. Fenner looking to run the baseline, gets it to Marshall Crum, and now Crum guarded there. They get it off to Chase Moyer. He'll try and get it across the time stripe. Now he spins, gets it to Fenner. Fenner now on the left point, gives it to Chase Moyer at the right point. Moyer dribbles it over, goes inside to Aaron Malley. Malley goes up on the right side of the rim. It's a charge. It's going to be a charge on Aaron Malley, as Rue took it, and he took the hit. Coach Adrian not happy. Yeah, as he's going to get a little discussion with the referee.
Rue did a really good job. It was not a very good matchup for Rue going against the much taller Malley, but he did a good job getting his feet set, his hands up in the air, and took the charge like a champ.
So now it is Rue, has it on the right point. They give it off to Radkovic, as he has it now on the far side wing, guarded by Aaron Malley. They swing it all the way around. Now it's Martin on the near side. They go inside to Thresh. Kicks it out to Radkovic, and they're going to call a foul on Aaron Malley as he was trying to fight through the screen. It was Jordan Martin who set the screen. And that's going to be the second foul on Aaron Malley in the total of 1 minute. So now it'll be inbounded by Connor Baker on the near sideline, as he looks to inbound. Gets it to Rue. Rue dribbles it over, top of the key. Now comes off a screen, gets it top of the key. Back to Martin, pull up 3, and he knocks it down in the face of Ben Umpleby. And it's now 36-21 with 15-21 and counting. Quickly pushing his Otterbein. Chase Moyer almost couldn't get it. Instead, he corrals it right at half court, and he'll set up the offense, guarded tightly by Rue. They give it off far side wing to Fenner, but there's going to be a hold, and it's going to be on Thresh. He's been holding Otterbein players down low all game long, and now they finally get him for it.
Yeah, and after starting out 0 of 11 from three-pointers for ONU, they've made their last 3 of 4 now to pull away from Otterbein.
Umpleby looking to inbound on the far side baseline, And they get it to Chase Moyer. Now to Umpleby. He penetrates left side of the rim, goes up. No, a lot of contact, no foul. Radkovic comes away with the air ball. He'll push quickly in transition. Gets it to Rue on the left point. He penetrates in and out, crossover, goes up with the jumper, and he got it to go. It is now 38-21. Coach Adrian still not calling a timeout.
Yeah, and still not sending his starters back to the game.
Moyer from the right elbow, can't get it to go. And it's rebounded there by Radkovic. Rue pushing quickly. It's stolen away by Ben Umpleby on the long pass. And he'll hold on to it and give it to Chase Moyer, who will dribble it up high on the left. 3 new substitutions to check in for Ohio Northern. They give it to Marshall Crum at the free throw line. He gives it off. Now they try to go inside to Aaron Malley, who makes a nice catch and puts it in. 3 Ohio Northern defenders were there, but Aaron Malley made the catch and made the bucket.
Yeah, great catch from Malley that time, and a nice pass from Umpleby, too, right where it had to be, and he went up and got it at its highest point, and the 3 ONU players kind of swatted at it, and they weren't in a good defensive position, so he's there for the layup right of the rim.
Thresh guarded there by Crum. They go inside now to Martin, who's guarded by Umpleby. He lost it, and he stepped on the line, stepped on the baseline. Good defense by Ben Umpleby. Looked like he got a piece of it, and then Martin tried to save it himself as he thought it went off his leg. 14:01 to go, clock stopped, and the substitutions check into the game now for Ohio Northern.
None for Coach Adrian, though. He's still barking at his players, his starters, sitting on the bench while he's got the reserves in there.
Now it's Malley who gets the inbound pass from Grant Fenner. They go all the way around the floor to Umpleby, who brings it across quickly, gets it to Crum inside on the left block. He goes up, he's fouled, and the bucket for Marshall Crum. Big finish there from the senior, and a nice play by Ben Umpleby to get it to him on the left block.
Great to see out of Marshall. As you said, the only senior on this team. He hasn't played in the past 2 games. Coming back from an illness, he kind of really fell out of the rotation as Coach Adrian tried to play some of the younger guys. Good to see Marshall getting the scoring column.
Crum from the charity stripe, and he gets it to go. Puts it through, and it's now back to a 12-point game as Devin Allen will bring it up for Ohio Northern.
Not the best free throw shooter on the team at only 54%, but he knocks down the 3-point play. Way to go, Marshall.
Far side wing is Allen. Now he goes into the high post. They go inside to Thresh, and he's fouled. They're going to get it on Umpleby, I assume, because Aaron Malley looked like he got all ball. And they're going to get it on Aaron Malley. So that's 3 fouls now on Aaron Malley.
I agree with you. I thought that would have been on Umpleby. It could have been on either, I guess, but they get it on Malley, so that'll be his 3rd and team's 4th.
Thresh is going to the charity stripe, where he's had a lot of time here tonight as he knocks down the first one, and we're up to a 13-point advantage for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. It's a game that Otterbein has really struggled here in the second half. Free throw is up and no good. Rebound is corralled by Grant Fenner. They give it to Umpleby, who's guarded by Martin, and he'll look to bring it across the time stripe. He does quickly, and now he's penetrating in the lane, kicks it, and it's a charge. A charge on Ben Umpleby there. Just didn't stop his momentum, and Fetchans was the one that was there.
Now, second charge of the second half we've seen out of Otterbein, and that probably is primarily due to these are a lot of the reserve guys out there trying to play very physical, very hard, and hey, Coach Adrian would rather see them play physical than soft out there.
Now it's in the high post with Fetchans. He kicks it out to Allen on the near side wing. They go top of the key. Now back to Allen on the wing. He penetrates, kicks it out. Thresh, open jumper is off the front rim, no good. Tipped around. Rebound goes in the hands of Diorio, kicks it out, and Martin corrals it. They go now far side wing. Inside now on the right block to Thresh. He goes up and puts it in. Great finish by Thresh. And now Otterbein down 41-26 as Malley gets the inbound pass, gets it back to the inbounder, Grant Fenner. Fenner looking to dribble it across the time stripe as he's guarded by Diario. They hand it off to Ben Umpleby, and Diario picks up the foul. With 12:45 to go, the clock will stop. And I believe that'll be the second foul on Diario. It is going to be the second foul on him. So now Ben Umpleby looking to inbound here for Otterbein as he's trying to find Chase Moyer and gets it to him in the back court. Moyer bringing it across the time stripe now. Otterbein setting up the play. Moyer waiting for the team to set as he has it at the left point. Goes to Marshall Crum in the high post. Kicks it back out to Fenner on the right wing, who's guarded by Allen. They give it to Malley, top of the key. Now over to Moyer on the far side wing. Moyer dribbles it around the arc, goes to the backdoor pass to Umpleby, who can't finish on the right side of the rim. Rebound and a foul as Aaron Malley took it strong on the offensive glass, and he'll head to the charity stripe. So 41-26 our score here at the Reich Center. A huge game for both sides, as both sides looking to solidify their spot in that 8th and final spot of the OAC tournament. The free throw from Aaron Malley is up and good.
Malley now 12 of 18 from the charity stripe this year, just a little bit over 65% on the season.
The foul went against Devin Allen. That's his second personal. And the free throw is up and good. 16 fouls for Ohio Northern, 4 for the Cardinals. Allen dribbles it up across the time stripe. Now has it on the far side wing, gives it top of the key to Fetchchance as he has it now. Picks up his dribble, goes to Thresh in the near side corner. It's no good. Rebound by Thresh, and he saved it to Fetchchance, almost who saved it from going in the back court. Diario now goes inside to Thresh, and they call a foul on Marshall Crum on the right block as he was battling there with Aaron Thresh. Thresh in this basketball game, he's got 10 points. He's also got 4 boards. They go inside to Martin off the inbound, and he puts it up and in. Otterbein fell asleep there on the inbounds pass. 43-28 the score. As Malley looking to get it to Umpleby, and Umpleby trying to bring it across the time stripe, guarded by Martin, and tried to get a defender. It was tipped away by Diario, but out of bounds over on the far sideline.
Now, Elijah, Otterbein has now gone 5 minutes without a single starter on the floor, and Coach Adrian's going to send his first substitution in the game in 5 minutes, but also a guy who's not a starter, as we're going to see Christian Meister check into the game and replace Ben Umpleby. So 5 straight minutes without the starting 5, a single member on the court.
Meister hands it off to Fenner at the top of the key. Fenner dribbling around the arc, and now gives it to Meister, who'll set up the offense from the right point. Guarded by Devin Allen. Now he dribbles it over and gives it to Fenner on the far side wing. They go into Meister in the far side corner. He dribbles it back out. Now they have it top of the key. They give it to Moyer, who penetrates in the lane. Goes up with a jumper, is no good. Rebound goes to Diario, and they're pushing quickly. Devin Allen, open 3 from the near side wing. Got it. 46-28 the score, and this game quickly getting out of hand, as it is now Malley who has it. He's double teamed there, and it's taken away by Diario. He looks to penetrate, goes up with the layup on the right side, no good. Rebound to Christian Meister, and he'll slow it up for the Cardinals. 10:52 and counting on the clock. Meister setting up the offense from the far side wing. Now dribbles it to the top of the key. Comes off a screen from Malley, gets it poked away. Saved by Thresh, but it goes out of bounds. And now we see the starters check back into the game, as it's Jake Phillips, Mark McEwen, and Matt Hughes to check in. Grant Fenner still on the floor for the Cardinals, and Chase Moyer also stays on the floor for Otterbein. Moyer to inbound from the near sideline as he gets it to Phyllis. Phyllis to set up the offense at the top of the key. Dribbles it over now, waits for a screen from Hughes. Instead, just going to take it himself. Penetrates left side of the rim, goes up and one from Jake Phyllis. And he'll head to the charity stripe to try and convert a 16-point game. Now is the score 46-30.
Yeah, Phyllis's first points of the game, and we talked on the Todd Adrian Coaches Show yesterday with Coach Adrian and Jake Phillips. He joined us on the program, and he talked about what an important part of his game it has been to cut towards the basket. He's able to knock down and convert the three-point play there, and he's up to 3 points a game. But so important for Phillips in his game to cut towards the basket like that, and that's the first time we've seen him do it all game, Elijah.
46-31, 10:32 on the clock as it starts to move, and Devin Allen brings it up for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. He gives it top of the key now to Thresh, who's guarded there by Mark McEwen tightly. They hand it off to Diario, kicks it back out. Now back to Diario, top of the key. 3, got it in the face of Matt Hughes, his former teammate at Bishop Watterson.
They're now 5 of 6 in this half on three-pointers after starting the game 0 of 11 from long range. Unbelievable turnaround.
So now it's Jake Phillips who has it on the near side wing. Comes off a screen from Hughes now. Looking to penetrate left side of the rim. Goes up and it's swatted away there by Fetchchance. Good block by him. And we've seen that a couple of times from Otterbein guards today. Not just Jake Phillips, but also Chase Moyer as well. As 9:55 to go, Otterbein inbounding from the far side baseline. Looking to inbound, he gets it to Mark McEwen. And Jake Phillips now has the basketball. And he'll bark out some signals. Back to Phyllis on the left point. Guarded by Devin Allen. Coming off a screen from McEwen. Hands it off to Meister. Meister to McEwen from the left point is no good. Rebound goes to Jordan Martin. And he'll give it to Allen, who'll push it up, and he'll hand it off to Martin, a three from the right point. And they just can't miss right now, David. Money for Jordan Martin, 52-31 the score, as this game is now back above a 20-point game. On the near side wing is Christian Meister with it. Meister almost traveled, picked up his dribble, gives it to Mark McEwen. Now to Jake Phillips, and it's taken away by Diario as it's off the hands of Jake Phillips. It's Devin Allen who brings it across the time stripe. Diario now to Thresh in the left short corner. Allen pump fake to three, now goes back inside to Thresh. Thresh guarded there by Mark McEwen, looking to penetrate in the lane. Almost got it stripped away, and now a jump ball is going to be called as Chase Moyer gets his hands in there. It's going to go to the Otterbein Cardinals, so good play by Chase Moyer with 8:50 to go on the clock. 21-point game, and we'll have head coach Todd Adrian discuss this game afterwards on the Ohio Health postgame show, so keep it locked here on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network as Chase Moyer brings it across quickly. Mark McEwen now in the short corner as Moyer gave it to him, but he gives it right back to Moyer, who sets up the offense high on the left. Now gives it to Meister high on the right. They go to Phyllis on the near side wing. A lot of battling going on down low, and a foul is going to be called on Matt Hughes. So an offensive foul on Hughes as Devin Allen was trying to fight through the screen. Third foul on Hughes.
Now we're 12 minutes into the second half, and neither coaching staff nor the referees have called any sort of timeout, so quick moving second half. Still no chance to give the answer to the trivia question either.
Well, that would be a first. That would be a first all time as Devin Allen pulls up from NBA range from the top of the key. They can't miss, David. This is unbelievable. 55-31, and now we'll get a chance for the trivia question as head coach Todd Adrian takes the timeout, and he's going to argue here with the official down low on a couple of calls offensively for Otterbein, but now it's time for the all-important trivia question.
Yeah, Coach Adrian can argue, but the officials aren't the one giving up 6 of 7 on the three-pointers. But in case you missed our trivia question, among current NBA players, who has scored the most career points in their college days? So throwing it back, is it A, Tyler Hansborough, B, Vince Carter, C, Kevin Love, or D, Doug McDermott? I thought about putting like Kobe and LeBron in there just to give you some toss-up questions.
I'm not that bad. I'm going to go Dougie McDermott.
You're going to go Dougie McBuckets,
yeah.
And you are correct.
Yeah.
People forget how great Dougie McBuckets was.
He's my favorite all-time college player, I think.
Dougie McBuckets scored 3,150 career points for Creighton from 2010 to 2014. That is 5th all-time among Division I college basketball players, currently in his rookie season riding the bench for the Chicago Bulls. All those guys on that list had very good college careers, but Dougie McBuckets really could score from anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, Dougie McBuckets, he's been riding the bench because he's injured right now. He actually injured his knee early in the season and hasn't seen action since. So
I'm expecting big things out of him.
I really am. You know, I think if he develops a game defensively, that was the only concern of him coming out of college, because everyone knew he could score. The only problem was, could he guard somebody that plays his position?
I feel like he's the missing piece for the Bulls. You know, they have Jimmy Butler, they have Derrick Rose, they have Heinrich, and then they have Dougie McBuckets. He's the guy who could really bring it all together for Chicago.
Yeah, you're forgetting Joakim Noah, the piece that holds them all together.
I'll take I'll take one Doug McBuckets over 5 Joakim Noahs.
Wow, okay. 8:15 to go on the clock as it starts to move, as Hughes now has it, and Ohio Northern still pressing. They have to get it across now, Otterbein does. They do to Phyllis on the near side wing. He penetrates, kicks it out now. Daryl Miller III from the left point. 3 on the way, and he swishes it home. Big shot from Daryl Miller III. Otterbein quickly getting into a full court press. Now getting it across is Diario. He goes inside to Martin. Martin looking to go inside to Thresh, and he traveled. Martin did. So now a little pushing match is going on, and technical fouls. Double technical is going to be called on Thresh and Daryl Miller III. We saw Daryl Miller III get into it at Baldwin Wallace and start what we call a shoving match, but what David and I call the brawl. So now it is going to be a double tech on those two players. So we'll see if that escalates to anything. Games like this that are out of hand, sometimes emotions fly.
Yeah, like you said, it was a similar thing in that BW game. And folks who remember that Capital game last year, similar situations. Not as much pushing, though, in this one.
Meister Can't corral it. Gets it out to Miller. Far side corner. 3. Bang. Daryl Miller III gets another big bucket. 55-37 the score. As quickly pushing across is Martin, and he's fouled by Jake Phillips, and it'll be a 1-on-1 situation for Jordan Martin.
Now that might be the kind of energy that Otterbein needs. Miller hits back-to-back three-pointers for Otterbein after they had struggled all game long from long range, and then they get the double technicals on ONU. So maybe that's what Otterbein needs, and it's just as I say that, Coach Kevin Burns sends 3 new legs into the game for ONU, and they'll have a chance to shoot from the left line. But hopefully that's the kind of punch Otterbein needs to get back into this one.
So Jordan Martin and Daryl Miller III doing a little talking there at the foul line. Jordan Martin, a graduate of Gahanna-Lincoln, so you got to imagine that those two guys crossed paths at one point.
Former OCC athletes in the same conference. They must have played a lot of times together.
Martin missed the free throw, and so now Otterbein pushing quickly as Meister goes up with the reverse. It's no good, but he's fouled there by Connor Baker. So now Otterbein's starting to make a bit of a run as Meister will head to the charity stripe to shoot 2. 7:21, the clock stopped. Might be a little too late for Otterbein, but still 7 minutes to go.
Meister has not been to the line yet in this game, but on the season and very limited experience at the line, 12 of 14, 85%. Not too bad, and that'll go up a fraction of a percent as he knocks down the first of 2.
So as you mentioned, Meister knocks it down, and a ton of substitutions have come into the game for Ohio Northern. As Meister puts up the second one, it's up and good. Brian McKenzie to check in for Otterbein, and he will take out Aaron Malley. So Otterbein going very small here, as it's Daryl Miller III, Jake Phillips, Christian Meister, Brian McKenzie, and Matt Hughes. Miller guarding the inbounds pass, but they get it into Pennington. Now Miller waiting to trap. Instead, they get it to Connor Baker, who still hasn't brought it across the time stripe. Now he does, and he's trapped there by Hughes. They give it off to Hurlis, who had a bad injury earlier in this game, but he's back in at the point, and it's a foul. It's going to be called on Brian McKenzie. So Radkovic will go to the line with 7:04 to go on the clock.
And a silly foul on McKenzie, one he really didn't need to commit, just his second of the game, but 9th of the game, or of the half on Otterbein, and he just kind of reached around him and slapped him, really unnecessary to the play.
Radkovic puts up the foul shot, and it's off the back rim, no good, but Connor Baker comes away with the board. It's Rue who gives it off now to the point to Hurlis, and now they go to Pennington on the near side wing. They swing it all the way around. It's Hurlis now on the far side. Hurlis gives it to Baker at the left point. He penetrates in the middle of the lane, goes up with the right-handed floater. Tips and it's no good. Rebound goes to McKenzie. Miller now pushing quickly for Otterbein. Slows up the offense now, looks to penetrate off the hesitation, and it's a foul that's going to be called on Connor Baker. And Daryl Miller III will head to the charity stripe to try and add to his point total. And he's had a pretty good second half, David, and he's leading the Otterbein Cardinals in scoring and is tied for a game-high 10 points.
He's got 10. He's also got 4 rebounds. He has 2 assists to go with that and 2 steals, so a pretty complete game for Miller as he misses the first of 2.
Cannot become the game's leading scorer with that free throw, as he'll look to do it here on the second one. As Otterbein now in the double bonus the rest of the way. Grant Fenner set to check into the game if he makes this free throw, and he does. So Grant Fenner will check in, and we'll see who he's going to take out. He's going to take out Hughes. So pretty much, David, you got 5 guards in the lineup right now for Otterbein.
Yeah, Fenner, obviously the tallest of all the players out there, but he's a guy that can really go both ways. He's listed on the roster as a forward, but we've seen him a lot of times step back and play that guard position. Same with McKenzie. So
Hurlis trapped now by Meister and Phyllis, and now Rue has it. He's trying to get it across the time stripe, and he does, barely. And they give it to Hurlis, who will set up the offense from the top of the key. Gives it off. Now they go to Radkovic on the right point, and again, another foul. And it's going to go against Christian Meister, so Radkovic, he'll have 2 free throws here. As now Ohio Northern in the double bonus the rest of the way as well. 55-40 our score with 6:22 to go here from the Reich Center. Otterbein's made a comeback, but is it going to be enough? The first from Radkovic is up and no good. And right now, Coach Adrian's strategy of fouling Radkovic has worked out to perfection.
Yeah, not just him. The entire ONU team has not been very good at the free throw line. 8 of 14 in this game.
Well, I spoke too soon as Radkovic knocks down the second free throw. 56-40 is the score. Phyllis looking to penetrate left side. Spins, goes up, no good. Rebound goes to Pennington. Phyllis just not had a good game so far shooting the basketball. Hurlis now guarded by Meister. They give it top of the key to Pennington, who's guarded tightly by McKenzie. It's Connor Baker now on the near side wing as he dribbles it to the top of the key, guarded by Grant Fenner. It's Rue, who's trying to slow down the offense. 17 seconds on the shot clock. They give it off to Baker on the far side wing. Baker penetrates in the lane, goes up, and can't get it to go. Rebound to Christian Meister, a big board there from Meister. Meister pushing quickly up in transition. Gives it to Phyllis at the top of the key. Phyllis now looking to penetrate on Radkovic. Instead, pulls up for three and bang, Jake Phyllis, big time bucket. It's now a 13-point game with 5:34 and counting. Miller guarding tightly on Hurlis. Hurlis trying to get it across, he does. Now he has it on the near side wing. It's guarded there by Miller. They give it to Radkovic now on the left point. Gives it top of the key to Rue. They swing it over to Hurlis now on the near side wing, who's guarded by Miller. It's Connor Baker with it now from the right point. Back to Hurlis. Back to Pennington from the near side wing. Three, no good. Rebound to Brian McKenzie. McKenzie pushing quickly for the Cardinals. Guarded by Rue. Looking to penetrate in the lane. Kicks it back out. Daryl Miller III now penetrating right side of the rim. Goes to Grant Fenner inside. Fenner goes up, no good. Rebound to Fenner again, and he puts it up and in. Timeout, Coach Adrian, as we're now back to an 11-point game with 4:52 to go.
A great follow through that time from Grant Fenner. The first one well short, sits on the front of the rim. He's able to stay with the play, get his own rebound, and be there for the putback, and that puts Fenner up to, 6 points in the ball game now. And as we said, maybe the spark Otterbein needs. You're down 56-45, just a tick under 5 minutes left to go in the game. Maybe not a whole lot of time. You got to definitely go quickly here, but certainly not out of time if you're Otterbein, and try to fight back into this one.
Looking at the scoring for Otterbein, it's really turned into the Trey Miller show, as he has 11 points in this game and really has been the spark off the bench. David, you got to think maybe when Coach Adrian took out all the starters as well as the main reserves, maybe it woke up Trey Miller.
Yeah, definitely. Just like in Virginia, the situation was a little different down south when Otterbein was definitely out of those games when he pulled the starting five, but it's a little bit of an ego thing. You see that your starting spot is being replaced by guys who haven't played in a couple games, and a couple guys' cases, guys who haven't played in 3 or 4 games, and you're sitting on the bench while coach is yelling at you. Obviously, that's going to fire anybody up and go out there. And Trey Miller, who's coming back from that shoulder injury, as we said, wearing that brace on his right shoulder, knocks down a clutch three-pointer. And as you said, he's leading all scorers right now in this game. And if you're Otterbein, I say feed him the basketball, because he's where most of your points have been running through. And Phyllis also hit a clutch three-pointer. You got to imagine that the shots are going to start falling for Jake.
Yeah, and really Daryl Miller III actually created that play that Grant Fenner just got that bucket on, made a nice move to the basket, jumped in the air, and made a nice wraparound pass to Grant Fenner. He didn't make that shot, but then he did make the layup after that. Daryl Miller III now heading to the bench, as checking in is Ben Umpleby. And you got to think this is for defensive purposes, as now it's Connor Baker to inbound here for Ohio Northern. Looking to inbound, he has nowhere to go with it and tries to get it to Rue, and now he does. Rue trapped in the corner, gets it back to Baker. Baker looking to get it across, still can't do it. Now gets it up the floor to Radkovic. He gets it across and gets it to Hurlis, who penetrates in the lane and now bring it back out. Baker, a three from the right point, is short off the front rim. Rebound is grabbed by Umpleby, and he gives it to Phyllis, who'll push quickly across the time stripe. Phyllis with the behind the back dribble, now between the legs, pulls back, looks to penetrate, kicks it out, Ben Umpleby. Umpleby to Moyer, over to McKenzie in the far side corner. McKenzie penetrates, goes up, but he's fouled before the shot, and he'll head to the line anyway to shoot 2, as they're in the double bonus. But Brian McKenzie has a chance now to make this a single-digit ball game.
McKenzie 2 for 2 so far from the charity stripe in this game. A pretty reliable free throw shooter as well. So if you're Coach Adrian, this is one of the guys you want at the charity stripe, and these are huge free throws right here for McKenzie.
The first one from McKenzie's up and good. And David, Coach Adrian talked with us about his team not being a team late in games that can turn people over. Right now, they're forcing Ohio Northern into some bad shot selections.
Yeah, Ohio Northern with just 4 turnovers at the halftime break. They're up to 9 so far in this game, still with 4:25 to go.
McKenzie's second free throw's up and good. And now Matt Hughes will check into the game as McKenzie checks out. Again, a defensive change here for Otterbein, as now it's Diario who's going to inbound with Christian Meister on the ball. It's stolen away by Jake Phyllis. He stays in bounds, and they say he went out of bounds. And Christian Meister knocked down the big 3 after They called it out of bounds, but that ball looked like it stayed in bounds.
Yeah, what great hustle from Phillips to steal it away on the inbound pass and trying athletically to stay in bounds, but got his toes on the sideline.
And now nowhere to go with it. Diario has to burn a timeout. So with 4:22 to go, we have a 9-point ball game, 56-47. Ohio Northern on top of Otterbein. And David, you can't say Otterbein has not quit, has not given up in this basketball game.
I know what you were trying to say, Elijah. Absolutely not. Otterbein has fought through this entire game. They fell behind to start the second half, and you know, they were down by I think 18 at one point. Then Coach Adrian sends in the reserves, and the starters have clearly responded to that from Coach Adrian. And no, absolutely, they haven't given up all year in any game they've been in, though, with the exception of maybe that Wilmington game in the second half. Really, no matter what the score, Otterbein's going to continue to fight, and they put themselves in a pretty good position right here to try to claw their way back into this one. It's a single digit deficit for Otterbein right now as they break the huddle.
So now it'll be Diario again inbounding, and he's inbounding from an awkward spot, pretty much as far down as you can get in that corner over on the far sideline. As he looks to inbound, try and find somebody to get it into. He can't find Rue and gets it now to Hurlis, who will bring it across the time stripe quickly, gives it off to Pennington, who goes up with the shot, and it's good. Now Otterbein gonna have to push quickly the other way, 4:14 and counting on the clock. Phyllis goes behind his back, now has it top of the key. Dribbles over to Chase Moyer, now gives it back to Phyllis, high on the left, burning a lot of clock here, 4:05 and counting. Phyllis gives it to Umpleby on the near side wing. Umpleby looking to go inside, instead now goes to Hughes in the near side corner. Back out to Umpleby on the wing. Umpleby hands it off to Phyllis. Phyllis with a pump fake jumper, now 9 on the shot clock. Looks to penetrate. Phyllis, a pull-up jumper inside the three-point arc. It's no good. Pennington with the rebound. And now Otterbein going to have to force a turnover here if they want to stay in this game. Rue looking to penetrate, and he'll bring it back out, but he's trapped now. Now they get it off to Pennington, who's guarded there by Chase Moyer. 3:30 and counting on the clock, an 11-point game. And fouling Radkovic is going to be Matt Hughes. And Radkovic, they're playing a little hack-a-shack with Radkovic, as they were not going to foul anybody else until Radkovic touched the basketball. 3:26 to go on the clock. As the clock is stopped, 58-47 our score here at the Reich Center.
Hey, you really can't blame him. 36% from the charity stripe this year, and he almost airballed his first attempt as it barely hits the front of the rim, and he's got the big man syndrome for sure. Coming into this one, 7 of 19 from the charity stripe, 1 of 4 in this game now from the free throw line.
And you got to imagine that Coach Byrne at some point is going to pull Radkovic and put in his free throw shooters, as Radkovic's second one is off the back rim, no good. Players tangled up. It was Pennington and Hughes, but now Otterbein pushing quickly. They go inside to Hughes. He kicks it out Phyllis. Phyllis now gives it to Daryl Miller III, who swings it to Meister. Open three from the near side corner. No good by Meister, and it's rebounded by Diario. That would have been a huge bucket from Christian Meister, as Hurlis is now trapped right around half court. They get it to Diario. Still have to get it across the time stripe. Tried to foul Radkovic and can't. Diario guarded tightly there by Daryl Miller III, and a foul is going to be called on Daryl Miller III, as him and Diario kind of got into it there a little bit. 2:59 to go. It's an 11-point game. And Coach Byrne talking there with the official, as it's going to be Diario at the line.
Now, Miller's been talking to everybody in this game. He's a fiery guy and a heck of a competitor, and he's out there. He's been jawing with everybody. Of course, clean, nothing vulgar about it.
So Diario at the line. 11-point game. Meister's three would have been huge there, as Diario knocks down the first one. Radkovic checks out, and this is exactly what I expected.
After those past two free throws, those things almost scraped the roof of the Reich Center here. They went that high up in the air before they came down.
I think Coach Byrne was going to give him a chance, but saw those two free throws and said that's enough for Radkovic. So now it's 60-47 the score, 2:56 and counting. And they go in the high post to Hughes, who tried to get it down low to Phyllis, and it's a turnover. Turned over by Matt Hughes as he threw it away. And now it will be Ohio Northern basketball here with 2:51 to go. And you got to think this is a huge comeback if Otterbein can make it. But now Pennington has it, and it's stolen away by Matt Hughes. He hands it off to Chase Moyer, almost lost it. Daryl Miller III in the near side corner, no good. Tipped around, rebound to Matt Hughes. He puts it up and in. 2:45 and counting now on the clock. as it's 60-49 the score. Nowhere to go with the basketball. Now they get it into Isaiah Rue, who looks to push, tries to get it up the floor, gets it to Feet Chan. Now he gives it off to Hurlis, who's guarded there on the far side wing by Daryl Miller III. Almost turned it over, Hurlis did. Still, now he can't put his dribble down. Rue almost went back court. He's guarded there by Chase Moyer. 2:15 and counting on the clock. Devin Allen set to check in for Ohio Northern. Hurlis guarded very tightly there by Daryl Miller III. Trap coming by Chase Moyer. Instead, Hurlis gets around it, goes inside to Feet Chan, and he puts it up and in. Now pushing quickly is Otterbein the other direction. Chase Moyer, pull up three from the far side wing, it's good. Chase Moyer, big shot. Timeout, Coach Adrian. That was a huge bucket by Chase Moyer, and now it's a 10-point game with 1:54 to go. We'll see what Coach Adrian has drawn up defensively.
Yeah, you got to think if that three-pointer doesn't go in for Moyer, and very quickly in the shot clock as well, this game might be over. That last possession for Ohio Northern, not only do they score, they burn a lot of clock. They work the shot clock all the way down to 5 seconds, so they're able to burn it underneath of 2 minutes. And you got to think if Moyer doesn't bury that three-pointer from the far side wing with a hand in his face, this ball game might be over.
Yeah, that definitely was a big-time shot. We mentioned the shot that Christian Meister missed, David. That would have been huge if he had knocked that one down, and there's a lot of what-ifs in this game. But one thing, again, that we have to say is Otterbein defensively in this game has played a lot better than they have in previous games. And not only that, David, this defense this year, 10 times better than it was last season.
Oh, absolutely. And we saw them sort of, so to say, trim some of the fat. They cut some of those selfish guys who really were only looking to increase their scoring total, not play a whole lot of defense. Otterbein gave up 85 points per game last year. This year, they're one of the top teams in the conference in defensive field goal percentage and points scored against them. Unfortunately, the offense has suffered a little bit between last year and this year for Otterbein, but defensively, leaps and bounds better than last year. Unfortunately, as we said, the scoring hasn't been there and the wins haven't been there.
Yeah, you mentioned it. The scoring really has not been there for the Cardinals, as it doesn't look like tonight, barring a major comeback, they will get above 70 points here in this game. And at the halftime break, they had just 18. So a big second half for Ohio Northern has allowed them to continue the lead here with 1:54 to go on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network. A reminder to tune into the Ohio Health postgame shows. We'll have head coach Todd Adrian up here discussing this basketball game, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going to happen Saturday against Muskingum. As now Ohio Northern looks to inbound. They try to get it into Devin Allen, and he's fouled by Jake Phillis in the back court. And I don't think that's what Coach Todd Adrian had drawn up, as Phillis tried to reach in, and Allen will head to the charity stripe.
I don't know, if you're Otterbein, you probably did have to start fouling. Down by 10, just under 2 minutes. You can't let them continue to burn clock. You did foul them as quick as possible, and you'll send them to the line on the left side and hope that they miss both of them.
So it's a two-shot for Devin Allen as he knocks down the first one. And Otterbein can no longer play hack-a-shack with Radkovic as he's on the bench. That's really too bad for Otterbein, because I think they might have a chance in this game if Radkovic would have to shoot all the free throws.
And Allen's up to 12 after he knocks down the second one, and he's the lead scorer for ONU right now.
64-52 the score. It's a 12-point basketball game, and it's been a good one throughout. A lot of physicality here in this game. Guys going back and forth. And for Otterbein, they're shooting 34% from the field, which is well below their average of about 42%. However, they are right at their average of three-point percentages. They're at 35.7% from beyond the arc. And David, that's something that we haven't talked about, but they've shot a lot more three-pointers as the season's gone on.
They really have. Towards the beginning of the season, we hardly saw more than 4 attempts all year long, and I think that just has to do with the team trying to feel itself out. I mean, most of these guys had never played in a college basketball game before, so maybe a little timid to put up the three-pointers, but as the season has progressed, they're still one of the lower shooting three-point teams in the conference, but they're certainly not afraid to jack it up like they were in the early non-conference games of the season.
Well, Ohio Northern's jacked it up, and they're shooting 33.3%, but they're also 7 of 21 from beyond the arc. It's now Daryl Miller III bringing it across for Otterbein, is 1:49 and counting on the clock. He looks at a three, now penetrates in the lane, goes with the crow hop, and he's fouled there by Pennington before the shots, but he'll still head to the line for the double bonus with 1:44 on the clock. Try and make this a 10-point game. Daryl Miller III, he's had multiple times where he's gone 1 of 2 from the line. He's actually 50% from the charity stripe. And a timeout, I believe, is going to be called, as it is.
And if you're Coach Adrian, you don't really want to get into scoreboard watching or anything like that, but has gone final in Marietta. Muskingum fell to the Pioneers today, 93-77. So not only does Marietta remain undefeated, the number 5 team in all the country, but Muskingum loses. So win, lose, or draw, you'll still be tied in 9th place with Muskingum after this game today. And then, of course, you'll have a big matchup with the Muskies on Saturday that really could be pivotal in the conference race for that 8th spot.
So it was not a timeout on the floor. Pennington actually fouled out of this game. So Lucas Pennington is done for the day as the first free throw from Daryl Miller III is up and good. And Pennington ends the day with 9 points and 4 rebounds. He was 4 of 8 from the floor and 1 of 4 from beyond the arc.
And didn't get to the free throw line once, as you said, the last time that they played back on December 3rd. He was 10 for 10 from the charity stripe, had a game-high 19 points, didn't get to the line at all today.
Brian McKenzie checking into the game as Miller knocks it down. And he'll check in for Grant Fenner. Umpleby and McKenzie have just checked in. It's a all-guard lineup for Otterbein. It's Meister, McKenzie, Umpleby, Phyllis, and Miller. As quickly, Ohio Northern looking to get it inbounded, and they do to Devin Allen. And now they're not fouling yet. They're going to try and make him get it across half court. Hurlis still has to get it across for the 10-second count, and now he goes inside to Diario with the layup. It's no good, and the rebound goes to Umpleby, and they'll push quickly as Meister brings it across the time stripe. Kicks it out to Brian McKenzie. He looks to penetrate, goes up. It's a no good on the jumper. Rebound is and a foul going to be called on Ben Umpleby as Fetchans will go to the line to shoot 2 as they're in the double bonus, but not a great shot selection there that came from Brian McKenzie on that possession.
No, it wasn't, and I thought he probably should have pulled up the three-pointer in the corner, try to save some time, try to get the 3 ball and cut it to a single-point deficit. He passes up the difficult three-pointer and tries to cut towards the basket, and yeah, like you said, a well-defended play by Ohio Northern, and not a high percentage shot for Otterbein to make.
So now at the charity stripe is Fetchan as he shoots the first one's up and good. Money. And it's 1:21 to go, and it's back to an 11-point game as Umpleby checks out, McKenzie checks out. Checking in is Grant Fenner and Chase Moyer. Shooters all over the floor right now for Otterbein as the second one is up and good. And now Meister inbound to Daryl Miller III. He'll bring it across the time stripe for Otterbein, and now he dribbles, fakes the pull-up 3, now goes inside to Grant Fenner on the left side of the rim, no good. And Fenner wanted a foul but didn't get it. Diario is going to get fouled there by Chase Moyer. So Diario will head to the line.
And you're really just prolonging the inevitable now. If you're Coach Adrian trailing by this much with just 69 seconds left in the game, it's all but assured Otterbein's going to fall in this one. Diario is 2 for 2 today from the charity stripe to go along with his 5 points and 5 rebounds he also has.
It's been a disappointing showing here for Otterbein. Put up 18 points in the first half.
Yeah, Diario knocks down the first one, especially after how well you played defensively in that first half. Obviously, Otterbein only put up 18, like you said, but we thought the offense would start to click in the second half, and they clearly did not.
Second one from Diario is good, and it's now up to a 14-point game as Daryl Miller III will let this one roll, and now he'll pick it up as he looks to come off a screen, gives it off to Phyllis, top of the key. They go inside to Grant Fenner on the left side of the rim. He goes up, he's fouled, and the bucket. So now we're going to go back to a 12-point game as Fenner will go to the line to try and make it 11. So Fenner goes to the charity stripe as he has not been there today. 3 of 8 from the floor, 6 points. And this free throw is up and no good. Rebound to Fetchan, and Martin gets it up the floor, but stolen by Phyllis. However, Martin was fouled before the pass by Christian Meister. So Martin heading to the line. The Gahanna Lincoln grad comes back
and what a
to
season,
the area.
What a season they're having.
Yep, Gahanna Lincoln.
Yeah, one of the top teams in the area.
They are no longer undefeated, however.
No, not undefeated, but still ranked #1 in the region, I believe, and still in first place in their division of the Ohio Capital Conference.
There is actually, I believe, only one team left undefeated as Dublin Jerome also fell. The first one is up and no good from Martin. Dublin Jerome fell to Bradley. And Gahanna Lincoln lost this past Saturday. 58 seconds on the clock. It's a 10-point game, or a 12-point game, excuse me, now 13. As Jordan Martin knocks it down 69-56 as Miller bringing it up across the time stripe. Hands it off. Instead, goes with the fake handoff to Chase Moyer. Now kicks it out. Grant Fenner, open three from the far side wing is an air ball. Rebound goes to Hurlis, and he's going to foul. He's going to be fouled by Christian Meister. And you got to think Coach Adrian going to stop fouling here shortly.
I certainly hope so.
43.8 seconds to go.
After what it seemed like a pretty quick first half, but this second half really has dragged out as we're approaching the 145-minute mark in this game. Nothing like that game we called Saturday at Mount Union.
No.
That was done in an hour and a half, if that, maybe with our post-game show, too. That was a quick game in Alliance Saturday.
I think the longest we had to wait in that game was for Coach Adrian when he came out of the locker room. Everything else was just quick and like you mentioned, an hour and 30-minute game. That's a very quick game. 70-56 as the free throw is missed by Hurlis and it's tipped out of bounds there by Diario. And 42.7 seconds. You got to think Otterbein going to come down, jack up a quick shot here. As it's now Daryl Miller III bringing it up the right side of the floor. Guarded there by Allen. Pull up three at the top of the key for Miller. No good, in and out. Rebound to Martin. No foul yet, and fouled is Allen. As there's 29.2 seconds, no shot clock now. The rest of the way, 70-56. And Ohio Northern is going to pick up another victory, and Otterbein is going to pick up yet another loss.
Yeah, Ohio Northern will advance to 9-9 on the year, 4-7 in league play. Cards are going to fall to 3-15, 2-9 in league play. This is probably my least favorite part of the game, though, Elijah. Most people would probably agree. The unnecessary fouling at the end of the game when the outcome's already decided. I'm all for never giving up until the final whistle, but there's no need in prolonging a game that's already over.
So the free throw from Devin Allen up and good. 71-56, and now he puts up another one, 72-56 the score. As Jake Phillips going to bring it up across the time stripe for Otterbein up on the left side of the floor. Pull up three from the left point is short off the front rim. Rebound is grabbed there by Jordan Martin. No foul now. 18 seconds on the clock. Martin just has to get it across the time stripe. He does to Hurlis, and Hurlis will hold it out. And that's going to do it. As there's 8 seconds now on the clock, Diario just going to hold on to the basketball as he waits. And that's it. The clock runs out on this basketball game. The Otterbein Cardinals fall by a score of 72-56 to the Polar Bears from Ada. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have the Ohio Health postgame show with Coach Adrian, as well as final statistics and analysis. You're listening to the Otterbein Sports Radio Network on WOBN 97.5 The Wild Card.
I thought I was too old.
I thought I was too young.
I didn't think I had what it takes.
How'd I find the time?
I went into a music store and tried some percussion. Keyboard,
guitar,
bass,
ukulele.
And before I knew it,
I could actually play a song.
Why make excuses when you can make music? Just play. This message brought to you by the NAMM Foundation.
Ever since our first sports broadcast in 1951, WOBN has been your first source for live Otterbein athletics. While radio has changed a lot since then, one thing remains the same, and that's WOBN keeps you up to date on Cardinal athletics like no other. With live broadcasts of football, basketball, baseball, soccer, and lacrosse, and weekly sports talk shows, nobody covers Cardinal athletics like your Cardinal radio station.
To the 10-5, touchdown, Otterbein!
97.5 WOBN, your source for Otterbein sports for 64 years.
This broadcast is copyright of WOBN 97.5 and may not be rebroadcasted, redistributed, or retransmitted without the express written consent of WOBN.
I'm Drew Brees, and being a dad means the world to me. And one of the most important things any parent can do is make sure their kids get active at least 60 minutes each day. Studies show that physical activity not only helps kids stay healthy, it can enhance important skills like concentration and problem solving, which can improve academic performance. This means physical activity can help your kids in the most important game of all, life. Learn more at fitness.gov.
Brought to you by HHS.
Be sure to log on to WOBN.net for a complete broadcast schedule of music, talk shows, and sports. That's WOBN.net.
Here comes the whistle. Strimbu lines it up. She shoots it. It's in! In the lower corner, Jillian Strimbu puts it in the back of the net. Piles at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Cardinals!
Want to know more about Cardinal athletics? Tune in Mondays from 6 to 7 p.m. to the Cardinal Sports Wrap with me, Elijah Gonzalez. I'll break down all the Otterbein sports from the previous week and look forward to the matchups ahead. We'll have interviews from players and coaches as well, only here on WOBN 97.5 The Wild Card, your home for Otterbein athletics.
Welcome you back to the Reich Center here in Westerville, Ohio. I'm David Kinder. Elijah Gonzalez off to my left, where the Otterbein Cardinals fall to the Ohio Northern Polar Bears tonight by a score of 72-56. Otterbein will fall to 3-15 on the year, 2-9 in league play. ONU, they'll advance to 500, 9-9 overall, 4-7 in Ohio Athletic Conference play. We want to thank everyone for tuning in to our broadcast, and you're listening to the Ohio Health postgame show, brought to you by Ohio Health, a family of not-for-profit faith-based hospitals and healthcare organizations serving Central Ohio since 1891 for individual physicians or overall health care. They're on the web at ohiohealth.com. That's ohiohealth.com, or 614-4-HEALTH, 614-4-HEALTH. Let's take a look at the final statistics from our ball game. Ohio Northern ended up being 22 of 57 from the field, 38% with 72 points, 7 of 21 from the long range, 21 of 31 from the charity stripe. They grabbed 39 boards, 12 on the offensive side of things, and they turned the ball over 10 times. Otterbein 17 of 52 from the field, 32%, just 5 of 17 from long range, 17 of 23 from the line. Also had 39 rebounds, 10 offensively, turned the ball over 16 times. Leading scorer in this ball game for Ohio Northern ended up being Devon Allen, who had 14 points, 4 of 6 from the field. He was paced in scoring with 10 by Threes, who ended up with 10 in the ball game, and Rue, who had 6. And also with 9 was Lucas Pennington, who fouled out of the game. Otterbein led in scoring by Daryl Miller III, who dropped 13 points in this game, also had 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Behind him in scoring with 6 was Jake Phillis and Grant Finner, and with 7 was Matt Hughes, who grabbed 3 rebounds for Otterbein. Mark McEwen had 8 rebounds and 6 points for Otterbein in the 72-56 loss. And Elijah, we've talked about it a lot already, but one of the biggest difference statistically looking at this game, Ohio Northern started out 0 of 10 from long range. They finished 7 of 11.
Yeah, they shot the ball very well in the second half. Very similar to what Mount Union did in the game that they played on Saturday, Otterbein did. But, you know, David, this was a game really that from the beginning, both teams just seemed to be playing very, very sloppy. And really, it was a game that Otterbein did not come out and play that great of basketball. Only scored 18 points in the first half. In the second half, they came out sluggish. Coach Adrian didn't like what he saw from his starters, and so he pulled them, put in a couple of reserves who I think kind of gave this team a little bit of a spark. Then Daryl Miller III comes back off the bench, and he puts in 13 points for an Otterbein team high. So, you know, it was a game that started off slow. And really, besides when Coach Adrian decided that he was going to go with some reserves and when he went back with Daryl Miller III, this was a game that Otterbein really just, I think, lacked energy. Jake Phillis, he did not play very well in this game, only had 6 points. He was 2 of 9 from the floor. He really struggled in this game, not only shooting the basketball, but really offensively. It was just a rough game for Jake Phillis, and hopefully when they go to Muskingum, David, I really see that this game against Muskingum, not only is it a huge game, but I think a homecoming for Jake Phillis can really get him going. I think we'll see a Jake Phillis that will play very well as he heads home to Muskingum this weekend.
72-56 our final score. We'll pause one more time here on the Ohio Health postgame show. When we return, we'll talk with head basketball coach Todd Adrian, listening to Cardinal Basketball on the Otterbein Sports Radio Network, 97.5 WOBN.
Imagine what it would be like to live out of your car, or to be homeless and have no place to relax safe and sound. Habitat for Humanity provides affordable, safe housing for people in need. Habitat is a nonprofit organization constructing and rebuilding over 600,000 homes and serving over 3 million people worldwide. Habitat for Humanity thrives on volunteer labor and donations from people like you. Everybody should have a place to call home. For more information, call 1-800-HABITAT or log on to habitat.org.
Do you want to taste of some great tunes? Listen to the Money Man Morning Show. Morning Breath. Want to get to your first class on time? You'll be so on time. More on time than you've ever been before. And we've got genres. So many genres. So listen into WOBN 97.5, the best radio in the world. Go with the sure thing. Don't gamble with your radio. Money Man. Listen to the Money Man Morning Show. You'll be so glad. Hey! Money Man in the morning.
If your study time is also snack time, watch out. Snacks can contain huge amounts of fat